The annual awakening ceremony is about to begin. Heaven bless me. Give me an S rank. S rank? You really dare to dream. Give me an A rank and I'll kowtow to heaven on the spot. My standards aren't high. C rank is enough. Just please don't let me drop below D rank, or my dad really will go home and make another alt. Jiangzhou number 1 High School, Senior Year Class 1. The classroom was as noisy as a boiling pot. I sat in the last row, tapping my fingers against the desk, my heartbeat growing faster and faster. 18 years. I had finally waited for this day. My name was Lin Lang. I was a transmigrator, and also the sole heir of the Jiangzhou Lin family. My father, Lin Hui, was a peak 5th-tier ability user. With him as its pillar, the Lin family sat firmly at the top of Jiangzhou's 4 great families. To put it plainly, even if I failed to awaken, I could just go home and inherit assets worth 9 figures. But I didn't want that. After finally transmigrating once, who would be willing to lie around, freeload, and wait to die? I wanted power. I wanted to leave Jiangzhou. More than that, I wanted to see just how vast this world, where ferocious beasts ran rampant and the strong were respected, truly was. Suddenly, footsteps sounded from outside the door. The classroom instantly fell silent. The homeroom teacher, Yuan Xiao, walked onto the podium in high heels, her gaze sweeping across the whole class. Everyone, sit properly. The awakening ceremony is about to begin. Lin Lang, you're the class monitor. You'll lead the group. I immediately stood up. Understood. Yuan Xiao nodded. Set off. I walked to the door and clapped my hands. Everyone, keep up. Don't fall behind. Someone laughed and started teasing. Monitor, what rank are you planning to awaken? Without turning my head, I replied, A rank at minimum. That confident? Can't help it. I pulled open the classroom door and chuckled. I've been outstanding since childhood. The crowd immediately burst into laughter and mockery. Some were so excited they even cursed, declaring that if I failed to awaken, they would definitely carve that sentence into the school forum. I didn't argue with them, because they didn't know I wasn't joking. I, Lin Lang, had been that child from someone else's family since I was little. I could speak at 2 months, recognize characters at 5 months, and walk at 8 months. The moment I turned 1, my father went around bragging to everyone, saying I had the potential to become a 9th-tier martial saint. He had bragged about that for a full 17 years. Today, I had to give him an answer. A few minutes later, we arrived at the school plaza. At the center stood a massive awakening crystal. The school leaders and people from the Education Bureau were all present. All the senior year students stood in orderly lines. The principal, Dong Rue, walked to the front of the stage and didn't waste too many words. The awakening ceremony officially begins. As soon as his voice fell, the first student immediately walked onto the stage. He pressed his hand against the crystal. Blue light flashed. The teacher in charge of recording glanced at the result. Lu Han, D-rank mental type ability, sleep manipulation. The expectation on Lu Han's face collapsed instantly. The teacher patted him on the shoulder. Don't be discouraged. D-rank can still become an ability user. Next, students went up one after another. Peng Lighting, C-rank enhancement type, Darkblade Demon Rat. Guan Yao, C-rank support type, power of healing. Hao Jiang, B-rank elemental type, blazing flame. The moment the last result was announced, the line instantly exploded. Hao Jiang leapt up fiercely. B rank. I awakened to B rank. He turned around excitedly, spreading his hands, wishing everyone could see his face clearly. Several people around him immediately gathered over. Brother, how awesome. B rank fire type. Definitely a genius in Jiangzhou. When you make it big in the future, don't forget us. Hao Jiang couldn't suppress the corners of his mouth at all. He deliberately walked past me and paused. Monitor, isn't it your turn? I looked at him. What's the rush? I'm just curious. He raised his hand, and a weak flame flickered in his palm. You've been called Jiangzhou's #1 genius since childhood. You wouldn't fail to even get B rank, would you? The surrounding area instantly quieted down a little. Someone wanted to advise him. Hao Jiang, picking a fight right after awakening isn't too good, is it? How am I picking a fight? Hao Jiang smiled even more smugly. I'm just concerned about our monitor. I glanced at the flame in his hand. Put the fire away first. What, scared? No. I took a step back. It's too small. I'm afraid it'll go out if the wind blows. A burst of laughter immediately rang out around us. Hao Zhang's face darkened on the spot. You? Next, the recording teacher's voice sounded. I stopped paying attention to Hao Jiang and walked straight toward the crystal. But after taking 2 steps, I stopped again. Hao Jiang. He stared at me. What? I pointed at the flame in his palm. Watch carefully. I'll teach you what talent really means. After saying that, I walked straight onto the awakening platform. The eyes of the entire school fell on me. After all, I was the young master of the Lin family, and also the publicly recognized #1 genius of Jiangzhou. Principal Dong Rue even personally stood up. The teacher in charge of recording smiled at me. Student Lin Lang, there's no need to be nervous. Just place your hand on it. I nodded. Teacher, I'm not nervous. Then why is your hand shaking? Excitement. I took a deep breath and placed my hand on the awakening crystal. A cold sensation came through. The next second, blue light rose. I stared fixedly at the crystal. A rank. At minimum, it had to give me an A rank. Otherwise, I really would have to go home and inherit the family fortune. At that moment, an icy mechanical voice suddenly exploded in my mind. God-level system binding has begun. My pupils shrank. What was that? Binding successful. Beginner gift pack is opening. Congratulations, host. You have obtained 1,000 talent points. Congratulations, host. You have awakened the SSS-Rank ability, God of the Undead. Boom. An aura terrifying to the extreme erupted from within me. The entire plaza seemed to be pressed down by an invisible giant hand. The recording teacher closest to me had a drastic change in expression, and his body uncontrollably retreated half a step. The students around me instantly shut their mouths. I lowered my head and looked at my hand. It had arrived. The standard equipment for transmigrators, the system that had been late for a full 18 years, had finally arrived. And the moment it appeared, it gave me an SSS rank ability. That pressure came quickly and disappeared even faster. But the recording teacher did not immediately speak. He stared fixedly at the awakening crystal, his lips trembling. The principal couldn't help urging, "What is the result?" The teacher abruptly raised his head. Lin Lang. His voice trembled. SSS rank. The entire place fell into dead silence. The teacher swallowed, then shouted out the final words in a nearly cracking voice. Special type ability, God of the Undead. Silence. The entire plaza was frighteningly quiet. A few seconds later, it completely exploded. SSS rank. Did I hear that wrong? How is that possible? Could there be something wrong with the awakening crystal? That's an awakening crystal certified by the Ministry of Education. How could it be wrong? Our school produced an SSS rank. Lin Lang is going against the heavens. Some people were so excited their faces turned red. They shouted curses at the top of their lungs until their voices became hoarse. The few people who had been surrounding Hao Jiang just now all turned their heads in unison to look at me. Hao Jiang froze in place. The flame in his palm had actually gone out. I walked down from the awakening platform and stopped in front of him. Where's your fire? Hao Jiang opened his mouth. Not a single word came out. A B-rank ability was indeed decent. But in front of an SSS rank, it didn't even have the qualifications to be compared. I patted him on the shoulder. Don't be discouraged. If you encounter a ferocious beast you can't handle in the future, you can come find me. Those were exactly the words the recording teacher had used earlier to comfort the D-rank student. The people around instantly understood. Laughter exploded outright. Hao Jiang's face flushed crimson. His fists clenched and loosened again, but he didn't dare act out. Earlier, he had wanted to use his B-rank ability to suppress me. Now, I had used my SSS rank ability to crush his pride into pieces. Refreshing. Truly refreshing. Principal Dong Rue could no longer sit still. He rushed over quickly, grabbed my hand, and trembled with excitement. Student Lin Lang, how do you feel? Do you feel uncomfortable anywhere? No. Are you dizzy? No. Has your ability gone out of control? Principal. I looked at the hand he was gripping tightly. If you use any more force, my hand might lose control first. Dong Rue abruptly let go. Sorry, I was too excited. He turned to look at the teacher in charge of recording. Test it again. The teacher immediately nodded. All right. The second test was completed quickly. The result did not change at all. SSS rank. Special type. God of the Undead. Dong Rue stared at the result, his breathing growing more and more rapid. It's real. It's actually real. He suddenly turned around and announced loudly to all the students. From today onward, Lin Lang is the most talented student since the founding of Jiangzhou Number 1 High School. This is the glory of Number 1 High School, and also the glory of all Jiangzhou. Applause instantly resounded throughout the plaza. Countless people looked at me. Envy, shock, jealousy, and reverence. A few minutes ago, they had still been discussing who could awaken an A rank. Now, no one mentioned A rank anymore, because what I had awakened was SSS rank. Ability ranks went from F rank all the way to SSS rank, 9 levels in total. Most people could only awaken D rank or E rank. C rank was considered pretty good. B rank could be called a genius. A rank was enough to receive focused cultivation. As for anything above S rank, those were existences truly capable of changing their fate and guarding an entire region. And SSS rank stood at the peak of all abilities. As long as I could grow up, let alone Jiangzhou, even the entire Xia country would have to remember my name. Dong Rui clearly understood this as well. He immediately stood in front of me and ordered the surrounding teachers in a deep voice. Seal off the awakening platform. Unrelated personnel are not allowed to approach. The ceremony will continue, but Lin Lang's detailed information must not be spread privately by anyone. At this point, he turned to look at me, and his tone instantly softened. Lin Lang, come with me to the office first. It's already too late. I pointed around us. Among the thousands of students, some had already taken out their phones. The principal's expression changed. Everyone, put your phones away. Whoever dares post unauthorized information online will be dealt with severely by the school. The students were frightened into quickly putting their phones away. But I knew very well this matter couldn't be suppressed. Thousands of pairs of eyes had seen it. The news would quickly spread throughout Jiangzhou, then to Qinghai province, and might even alarm the upper ranks of Xia country. That wasn't necessarily a bad thing, but it definitely wasn't entirely good either. Humans had powerful experts. Among ferocious beasts, there were also existences with high intelligence. An SSS-rank genius who had yet to grow was, to the enemy, a target that had to be eliminated in advance. Just as this thought emerged, the system interface opened before my eyes. Name, Lin Lang. Level, Awaken 1, upgradable. Ability, God of the Undead SSS rank. Constitution, 128, upgradable. Spirit, 145, upgradable. Martial skills, none. Talent points, 1,000. I stared at those upgradable labels, and my heartbeat accelerated again. 1,000 talent points. They could be added to my level, or to my constitution and spirit. In other words, not only had I awakened an SSS rank ability, I could directly cheat and become stronger. Very good. The enemy wanted to kill me? Then we'd see whether they came faster, or I leveled up faster. I followed the principal away from the plaza. Along the way, he walked very quickly, continuously making calls on his phone. Education Bureau? Send people to number 1 high school immediately. Yes, the result has already been rechecked. It is confirmed to be SSS rank. What ability? Special type, God of the Undead. Who knew what was said on the other end of the call? Dong Rui's steps suddenly stopped. The province wants to send someone directly? All right, I understand. He hung up, then immediately looked at me. Lin Lang, your father already knows. I raised an eyebrow. That fast. I personally notified him. Dong Rui took a deep breath. You are no longer an ordinary student. Next, Jiangzhou, the provincial capital, and even the highest academies of Xia country will all send people here. They will have only one goal: to snatch you. I laughed. Then it depends on what conditions they can offer. Dong Rui was stunned, then laughed as well. As expected of the young master of the Lin family. You can still negotiate terms at a time like this. Why couldn't I? I pushed open the door to the principal's office. The talent is mine. The right to choose should naturally also be in my hands. Just as I sat down, my phone rang. The caller ID only had 2 words. Dad. As soon as I answered, Lin Hui's excited roar rushed out. Son, did you really awaken an SSS rank ability? I moved the phone a little farther away. Dad, calm down. I can't calm down. From the other end of the call came the sound of something being knocked over, followed by a burst of hurried footsteps. You wait there. I'm going to the school right now. My mother Lung Chio's voice also came from the side. Slow down. It's not like our son is going to run away. That's SSS rank. How can I slow down? Lin Hui had clearly lost his composure from joy. I knew it. I knew it all along. My son Lin Lang has the potential of a 9th-tier martial saint. I rubbed my ears. He had been saying this since I was 1 year old. Before, other people only thought he was doting on his son and bragging without limits. After today, no one would dare laugh. I leaned back in the chair. Dad, what is it? Don't only focus on being happy. My tone became serious. The news has already spread. The other end of the phone fell silent for a moment. When Lin Hui spoke again, his excitement had lessened, replaced by the cold sharpness belonging to a peak 5th-tier expert. Someone dares touch you? I'm just reminding you. You're right to remind me. He immediately issued an order. Housekeeper Zhao, gather all the ability users of the Lin family. Seal off the area around the school. The convoy departs immediately. Housekeeper Zhao's voice sounded right after. Yes, family head. My mother also spoke. I'm going with you. You stay at home. Lin Hui, say that again. The other end of the phone suddenly went silent. A few seconds later, my dad gave a light cough. Housekeeper Zhao, prepare 2 cars. I almost burst out laughing. So what if he was a peak 5th-tier expert? In front of my mother, when it was time to lower his head, he still had to lower it. After hanging up, Dong Rue looked at me with a complicated expression. You're not afraid? Afraid of what? An SSS rank ability will bring you glory, but it will also bring danger. I stood up and walked to the window. The students on the plaza were still looking in this direction. Everyone was talking about me. And this was only the beginning. I clenched my fist. The power of the god of the undead slowly surged within me. Cold, powerful, as if countless sleeping existences were waiting for my summons. I turned to look at Dong Rue. Principal, what is it? Let me use your office for a bit. What are you going to do? My gaze fell on the system panel. Level up. Since trouble was already on the way, then I would become stronger first. Whoever dared treat me as prey that had yet to grow would learn. Who exactly was the prey? Only later did I learn that the news of me awakening an SSS rank ability had reached the Jiangzhou City Education Bureau within 10 minutes. When Zhou Yuntong, the director of the Education Bureau, received the call, he asked 3 times in a row, "Are you certain it's SSS rank?" Certain. Not S rank. Not. Has the awakening crystal been rechecked? It has been rechecked. The result didn't change. SSS rank special type, God of the Undead. Zhou Yuntong stood up on the spot. Seal off the news, protect the student. I'll report this immediately. But news like this could not be suppressed at all. Education Bureau, City Government, Qinghai Province. It was reported upward level by level. In less than half a day, orders from above came down. Qinghai Province's guardian, Li Yi, would personally hurry to Jiangzhou to evaluate and protect me. Li Yi, peak 8th-tier Grandmaster. The true top powerhouse of Qinghai Province. When he was still at peak 7th tier, he had once crossed ranks and killed an 8th-tier ferocious beast. In that battle, he was gravely wounded and on the verge of death, yet he forcefully slaughtered his way through the beast tide and preserved 3 cities. A figure like that usually guarded the provincial capital and deterred an entire region. Now, however, he was coming for me. Of course, all of that was something I only learned afterward. At the time, I was still in the principal's office researching the system. Name, Lin Lang. Level, Awaken 1, upgradable. Ability, God of the Undead SSS rank. Constitution, 128, upgradable. Spirit, 145, upgradable. Martial skills, none. Talent points, 1,000. I was just about to allocate points when a commotion suddenly came from outside. Mr. Lin, Madam Long, this way please. Immediately after, the office door was pushed open. My father Lin Hui strode in. My mother Ling Qiu followed closely behind. Son, my father locked onto me at a glance, quickly stepped forward, placed both hands on my shoulders, and examined me up and down. You're not hurt, are you? I felt somewhat helpless. Dad, I awakened an ability. It's not like I just fought a ferocious beast. Is it really SSS rank? Fake. I deliberately sighed. It's actually F rank. The school was afraid you wouldn't be able to accept it, so they lied to you. My father's expression stiffened. Brat, you even dare make fun of your old man. I immediately laughed. It's real. SSS rank, special type, God of the Undead. My father stared at me for a few seconds, then suddenly raised his head and laughed loudly. Good. As expected of my son, Lin Hui's son. I said long ago that my son Lin Lang has the potential of a ninth-tier martial saint. My mother raised her hand and smacked him. Enough. You've said that line from when Langer was 1 year old until he turned 18. Aren't you tired of it? Not tired. My father looked smug. Before, they said I was bragging. Who would dare say that now? My mother ignored him and directly pulled me to her side. Langer, let mom take a look. Are you really not uncomfortable anywhere? No. Does your head hurt? No. Is there any sign that you can't control your ability? Mom, I'm perfectly fine. I spread my arms and spun around once. Forget being hurt. I feel like I could kill a cow with one punch right now. My father immediately continued. What's the point of an ordinary cow? Another day, Dad will catch you a first-tier ferocious beast and let you practice. My mother glanced at him. Our son just awakened, and you already want him to fight ferocious beasts. My father's momentum instantly weakened. With me watching from the side, what could happen? You're still talking? I won't talk anymore. Seeing Jiangzhou's only peak 5th-tier expert suppressed by a single sentence from my mother, I almost couldn't hold back my laughter. Principal Dong Rue also walked over with a smile. Mr. Lin, Madam Long, congratulations to you both. Student Lin Lang awakening an SSS-Rank ability is not only the glory of the Lin family, but also the glory of our #1 high school, and even all of Jiangzhou. My father spoke humbly, but the smile on his face couldn't be suppressed at all. Principal Dong overpraises him. For this child to have today, it is also inseparable from the school's nurturing. The two exchanged polite words for a while. Then Dong Rue personally brought over tea, but his expression slowly became serious. Mr. Lin, there is something I must inform you of. My father put down his teacup. Please speak. The news of Lin Lang awakening an SSS-Rank ability has already been reported by the Education Bureau. The higher-ups have just issued instructions. Lord Li Yi, the guardian of Qinghe Province, will personally come to #1 high school. The smile on my father's face instantly froze. Who? Guardian Li Yi. Li Yi, the peak 8th-tier Grandmaster? Exactly. The office fell silent. My father abruptly stood up, his eyes full of shock. He was peak 5th tier and usually had absolute authority in Jiangzhou. But between 5th tier and 8th tier, there were 3 entire major realms. In front of a true Grandmaster, the Jiangzhou Lin family was simply not enough. Guardian Li is actually coming in person? My father took a deep breath and forcibly suppressed his excitement. The higher-ups value Langer this much? Dong Rue looked at me. An SSS-Rank ability user may not appear even once in several decades. As long as Lin Lang grows smoothly, he will at least become a 9th-tier martial saint in the future. A genius like this is worth a guardian personally coming. My mother held my hand. She didn't speak, but the pride in her eyes couldn't be hidden at all. After his brief shock, my father straightened his back, and his whole person became spirited. My son truly brings honor to the Lin family. Dad, I looked at him. Were you nervous just now? Nonsense. Your hands were shaking. That was excitement. My father glared at me, then sighed emotionally. I always used to say that you had the potential of a 9th-tier martial saint. I never expected that one day those words might really come true. No. I shook my head. He was stunned. What do you mean? Looking at the 1,000 talent points on the system panel, I smiled. 9th tier may not necessarily be my limit. The office fell silent again. My father stared at me, then suddenly patted my shoulder hard. Good. Ambitious. Then surpass 9th tier and let everyone see just how far my son Lin Hui's son can go. At that moment, a piercing sound of something cutting through the air suddenly came from outside the window. Boom. A terrifying sense of pressure descended from the sky. The entire teaching building seemed to tremble. I abruptly turned my head, only to see a completely black, sharply designed fighter jet hovering above the school. All the students on the field raised their heads. What is that? A fighter jet. It seems to be the Guardian's exclusive fighter jet. Grandmaster Li Yi is here. He must be here for Lin Lang. Cries of shock instantly swept through the entire school. A few seconds later, the jet's cabin door opened. A figure dressed in black battle armor stepped out of the cabin. There was nothing beneath his feet, yet he stood steadily in the air. My father's voice sounded behind me. walking on air. An 8th tier grandmaster. Li lowered his head and looked down at the school. He made no movement, just one sweep of his gaze, and the entire campus quickly quieted down. That was not deliberate intimidation. It was the pressure naturally carried by a high-tier expert. I looked at him through the window, and the power of the undead within me actually began circulating on its own. Strong. Too strong. If my father, a peak 5th-tier expert, stood before him, he probably wouldn't even be able to withstand one move. But I wasn't afraid. I only felt excited. This was the power I wanted. Suspended high in the sky, suppressing an entire city with a single thought. Whether ferocious beasts or enemies, whoever dared block the way would be crushed directly. Li stepped down from the air. The next second, he had already appeared in front of the teaching building. Dong Rui hurriedly went out to welcome him. "Greetings, Lord Guardian." Li glanced at him. "Where is Lin Lang?" No pleasantries. No nonsense. He had come for me. "The training room." "Lead the way." "Yes." My father looked at me, his expression serious. "Langer, perform well later." My mother straightened my collar for me. "Don't be nervous." I smiled. "Don't worry. Since the Guardian came personally to evaluate me, doesn't that mean he wants to see whether my talent is truly worth valuing?" I turned and walked toward the training room. Then I'll let him see enough. Soon, Li walked into the training room. Black battle armor. A cold, stern face. He did not deliberately release his aura, yet he still pressured everyone until their breathing tightened. My parents immediately saluted. "Greetings, Lord Guardian." Li nodded slightly. Then his gaze landed on me. Very cold, also very sharp, as if he wanted to see straight through me. Dong Rui hurriedly spoke. "Lord Guardian, this is Lin Lang. His father is Lin Hui, a peak 5th-tier ability user. His mother is Lung Xiao, a mid-4th-tier ability user." Li did not respond. He only said one sentence to me. "Everyone else, leave." Dong Rui immediately nodded. "Understood." My mother was somewhat worried. "Langer." "Mom, it's fine." I smiled at her. My father lowered his voice. "Perform well. Don't embarrass the Lin family. Relax. I'll only bring honor to the Lin family." The door was closed. Only Li Yi and I remained in the training room. He looked at me. I also looked at him. Neither of us spoke first. The next second, terrifying pressure crashed down. Bang! My feet sank violently into the ground, and my breathing instantly stagnated. It was as if a mountain had pressed down on my shoulders. Even my bones were making faint sounds. I stared fixedly at Li Yi. "Lord Guardian, is this your evaluation?" "Stand." His tone was flat. "If you can't even withstand my aura, then you are not worthy of wasting the nation's resources." Direct enough. I liked it. "Then watch carefully." I let out a low roar and directly activated God of the Undead. Boom. Dark undead aura erupted from within me. The temperature dropped sharply. One illusory figure after another appeared behind me. Whispers, hisses, roars. They seemed to have crawled out from the world of death, surrounding me as they resisted Li Yi's pressure. My bent waist straightened little by little. Li Yi's eyes finally changed. "You just awakened, yet you can block pressure at the late 3rd tier?" So he had suppressed his power to late 3rd tier. But I hadn't fallen. Not only had I not fallen, I even took a step forward. "Is that all?" I gritted my teeth and looked at him. "Lord Guardian, aren't you underestimating SSS-Rank too much?" The corners of Li Yi's mouth rose slightly. "Interesting." Boom. The pressure rose violently again. Peak 3rd tier. My body sank, and the floor beneath my feet instantly cracked. Early 4th tier. Every word Li Yi spoke made the pressure increase by another level. The undead phantoms began shaking violently, but I still didn't retreat. Mid-4th tier. Bang. One undead phantom exploded on the spot. My knees bent fiercely. Sweat flowed down my forehead and into my eyes. It hurt. My whole body hurt. But I couldn't kneel. No one could make me kneel. "Come out." I abruptly raised my hand. The undead aura churned wildly. More phantoms rushed out from behind me, giving off soundless roars. Crack. The ground continued splitting. Under the pressure of mid-4th tier, I forcibly straightened my body. I can still endure. Li Yi stared at me for a few seconds, then suddenly raised his hand. All the pressure instantly disappeared. My body swayed, and I gasped heavily for air. I almost fell. But at the final moment, I still steadied myself. The indifference in Li Yi's eyes lessened a little. Not bad. I wiped the sweat from my face. Just not bad. You just awakened your ability, yet you can withstand the pressure of mid-4th tier. Li Yi revealed a smile for the first time. In several decades, you are the first. That's more like it. I withdrew the undead phantoms. Lord Guardian, am I now worthy of the nation's cultivation? Li Yi looked at me. Your talent is sufficient. But talent alone cannot make someone strong. Blue Star has never lacked geniuses. But there are very few who can truly survive and grow. I understood his reminder. The greater my talent, the more enemies would target me. Those who wanted to kill me might not only be ferocious beasts. But so what? Just because others died doesn't mean I will. I stared directly at Li Yi. Whoever dares block my path, I'll send them to death first. Li Yi did not criticize my arrogance. Instead, he nodded. Very good. The strong should have this ruthlessness. He turned and pointed at the testing equipment inside the training room. Let me see the strength of your ability. I walked to the energy tester and placed my hand on it. Just inject my ability directly? Yes. What if I break it? Li Yi glanced at the equipment. First have the ability to break it before saying that. Fine. You said it. I directly activated God of the Undead. Buzz. The equipment started. The numbers on the screen jumped rapidly. 500. 1,000. 2,000. Li Yi had originally remained fairly calm. But after the numbers broke past 2,800, his eyes changed. 3,000. The numbers were still rising. 3,100. 3,200. 3,500. The instrument began vibrating violently. A red alarm suddenly lit up. Warning. Energy overload. Warning. Energy overload. My expression changed. Lord Guardian, should I continue? Li Yi stared fixedly at the screen. Continue. Are you sure? Cut the nonsense. Good. I once again increased my ability output. 3,800. 4,000. Bang. A muffled sound came from inside the machine. Immediately after, large amounts of white smoke poured out. The screen flickered twice, then went black on the spot. I quickly pulled back my hand. The training room was awkwardly silent. I looked at the scrap machine, then at Li Yi. Was the quality not very good? Li Yi walked forward, checked it, and helplessly shook his head. It's not that the equipment was too poor. It's that the strength of your ability exceeded its upper limit. I scratched my head. There are still a few machines next to it. Should we try again? Stop. Li Yi directly stopped me. If I let you test again, the rest will all be scrapped too. But the data still wasn't measured. There's no need to measure it. Li Yi looked at me, and for the first time, true recognition appeared in his gaze. Your initial ability strength has already surpassed the average record of existing SSS-Rank ability users. My heart shook, and this was only the result before I added any points. If I spent all 1,000 talent points, then how strong would I become? Li Yi then pointed at the strength tester. Next item, punch with full force. I walked to the machine and clenched my fist. This one won't break too, right? The strength tester has a higher upper limit. Li Yi's tone was calm. Hit it without worry. I punched out. Bang. The machine shook violently. The numbers instantly rushed to the limit. Immediately after, the entire punching target flew out and smashed through the partition wall of the training room. I maintained my punching posture and froze for 2 seconds. Li Yi also fell silent. I slowly withdrew my fist. Lord Guardian. You just said this machine had a higher upper limit. The corner of Li Yi's eye twitched slightly. Test the next item. Speed test. The treadmill burned out. Reaction test. The launcher was smashed apart by my palm strike. Mental test. The display screen directly produced a string of garbled characters. In just 20 short minutes, half of the equipment in the training room had been scrapped. In the end, I stood among a floor full of parts and carefully asked, "Are we still testing?" Li Yi swept his gaze over the smoking equipment and was silent for a moment. No more testing. How are my results? He looked at me with a complicated gaze. Lin Lang. Here. In the future, without high-tier equipment, you are not allowed to test casually. I held back my laughter. Understood. He walked up to me and heavily patted my shoulder. I acknowledge your talent and potential. From now on, you will be placed on Xia country's highest-level genius cultivation list. Resources, cultivation methods, martial skills, renowned teachers. The nation can give them all to you. But you must agree to one thing. I put away my smile. Please say it. Li stared into my eyes and spoke word by word. Grow as quickly as possible. Ferocious beasts will not give geniuses time. Our enemies even less so. I clenched my fist. Undead aura once again surged behind me. I don't need them to give me time. My time. I'll seize it myself. As for those who want to kill me, I looked at the scrapped equipment scattered across the floor and smiled. They'd better be a bit tougher than these machines. Li looked at the ruined equipment all over the floor, then looked at me and didn't speak for a long time. Being stared at like that made my scalp prickle a little. Lord Guardian, the cost of the equipment. I don't have to compensate for it, right? Li came back to himself, the corner of his eye twitching faintly. Does your Lin family lack that bit of money? No. I answered very straightforwardly. But if I don't have to pay, why should I? You're quite honest. Li walked up to me, squeezed my shoulder, then checked my arm again. The astonishment in his eyes grew stronger and stronger. Your ability strength being abnormal is one thing, but your physical constitution is this strong too. Lin Lang, did you really only awaken today? The awakening crystal is right outside. I spread my hands. It's not like I secretly awakened more than 10 years ago and only came to make up the paperwork today, right? Li couldn't help laughing. Smooth-tongued brat. As he spoke, a trace of envy actually appeared in his eyes. What I awakened was an A-rank ability, Hurricane Phantom. Even among A-rank abilities, it counts as top tier. I cultivated to peak 8th tier in my 30s, and everyone said I was a genius. But compared with you, he paused for a moment and shook his head. The gap between people is indeed even greater than the gap between people and ferocious beasts. I raised an eyebrow. Lord Guardian, are you jealous of me? Yes. Li actually admitted it directly. Who wouldn't be jealous of an SSS-Rank ability? If I had your talent, I might have broken through to 9th tier long ago. He patted my shoulder. So don't waste it. This kind of talent isn't for showing off. Understood. I put away my smile. Only power held in your hands is real. No matter how strong your potential is, if you don't grow, it's all empty talk. Approval flashed through Li Yi's eyes. It's good that you understand. He turned and walked toward the center of the training room. The equipment testing is over. Next is the final item. I moved my wrist. What else do I have to smash? Li Yi's face instantly darkened. You're not smashing anything. Release your ability. I need to know the actual effects of God of the Undead, the strength of your summons, and the upper limit of its combat ability. It had finally come. The previous machines could only test numerical values. This item was the true main event. I walked to the center of the training room and closed my eyes. My consciousness sank into my body. That place was like a connection to an endless world of death. Dark, cold. Countless sleeping auras were responding to me. They awaited orders, awaited summons, awaited me bringing them into this world. I opened my eyes and raised my right hand. Answer me. Come forth. Boom. Dark aura erupted from beneath my feet. The lights in the training room began flickering wildly, and the temperature plummeted. A crack tore open behind me. Low roars came from the depths of the crack. The next second, a skeleton warrior covered in tattered armor stepped out from the darkness. Thud. It knelt on one knee. Immediately after came a second, a third. One undead after another crossed the crack and appeared behind me. Skeleton warriors, decayed knights, wraiths, and an undead giant over 3 meters tall, gripping a bone axe. 8 in total. They surrounded me from behind, all lowering their heads, awaiting my command. Li Yi had originally remained fairly calm, but after sensing the auras of these undead, his expression completely changed. Early 1st tier, late 1st tier, 2 2nd tier, 3 early 3rd tier. His gaze finally landed on the undead giant. Late 3rd tier. Li Yi abruptly looked at me. You're only an awakened one, yet you can summon a late 3rd tier undead? I smiled. Lord Guardian, surprised? More than surprised. Li Yi circled the undead giant once, and the shock in his eyes was impossible to suppress. For ordinary summoning type ability users, being able to summon a tier 1 creature right after awakening is already considered quite outstanding. I once met a C-rank summoning type awakener. He prepared for several minutes and finally summoned a few mosquitoes. Mosquitoes. I almost failed to keep a straight face. What abilities did they have? Blood-sucking. Isn't that obvious? So later, he changed careers and started raising ferocious beasts. I looked at the 8 undead behind me and suddenly found my own ability much more pleasing to the eye. Other people summoned mosquitoes. I summoned tier 3 undead. That gap was indeed a little hurtful. Lee stared at me. 8 is your limit. Of course not. I raised my hand, and my 5 fingers suddenly clenched tight. This is only the beginning. Gather. The 8 undead rose at the same time. Without the slightest hesitation, they swiftly charged toward the center of the training room. Black undead aura surged out of their bodies, entangling with one another, devouring one another. Bones collided. Armor shattered. Ghosts let out piercing shrieks. All the undead were compressing toward the same core. Li's pupils constricted. You're making them fuse? That's right. I stared fixedly at the undead in the process of fusion, sweat gradually beading on my forehead. If one alone isn't strong enough, then I'll combine them all into one. Fuse. Boom. 8 streams of undead aura exploded at the same time. The entire training room shook violently. Within the black mist, an undead covered in black heavy armor slowly stood up. It was nearly 5 meters tall. Curved bone horns grew from the top of its head. In its right hand, it gripped a massive bone sword, and ghostly blue flames burned in its eye sockets. Thud! It dropped to one knee before me. With just that single movement, the floor caved downward. The smile on Li Yi's face vanished completely, leaving only solemnity. Tier 4. And not early Tier 4, either. He sensed it for a few seconds, then suddenly exhaled. Mid-Tier 4. Lin Lang, you've only just awakened, yet you can summon a mid-tier for creature? I wanted to answer. But just as I opened my mouth, an intense wave of weakness swept through my entire body. It felt as if someone had smashed my head with a hammer. My vision also began to blur. Damn it! The consumption was too great. When I summoned the 8 undead separately, I could still control them with ease. But after the fusion, this tier 4 undead was like a bottomless pit, frantically draining my mental strength and stamina. My legs went weak, but I forced myself not to fall. Li Yi immediately noticed something was wrong. How long can you maintain it? 30 seconds. I gasped heavily and gritted my teeth hard. If I command it to fight, it can only unleash one attack at most. And after that, it'll dissipate. I tugged at the corner of my mouth. I'll probably have to lie down for a while too. Li Yi raised his hand. Enough. Release the summon immediately. No. I looked toward the only high-strength alloy target left at the far end of the training room. Since this is a combat test, how can we not test its attack? Lin Lang, don't push yourself. This isn't pushing myself. I raised my hand and pointed at the alloy target. I need to know my own limit. That tier 4 undead abruptly stood up. The bone sword lifted. All the undead aura in the training room gathered toward the blade. Li Yi stared at me and, in the end, did not stop me. Only one strike. Understood. I pressed my 5 fingers downward. Slash. The undead vanished instantly. In the next second, it appeared in front of the alloy target. The giant sword swept horizontally. There was no violent explosion, only an extremely fast flash of black light that streaked across the center of the alloy target. The undead maintained its sword-swinging posture. The alloy target remained motionless. I froze for a moment. It didn't break? As soon as I finished speaking, crack! The entire alloy target split smoothly down the middle. The wall behind it also showed a sword mark several meters long. Bang! The alloy target crashed to the ground. At the same time, the tier 4 undead turned into black mist and quickly dissipated. My mind went blank. My body instantly lost all strength, and I pitched forward. Damn! A gust of clear wind caught me just in time. Li Yi appeared beside me in a single step and pressed his hand on my shoulder. You knew you couldn't hold on, yet you still dared to attack? Wasn't I counting on you? I no longer even had the strength to lift my hand, yet I still forced out a smile. With an 8th rank Grandmaster watching from the side, if I still managed to fall to my death, that would be far too embarrassing for you. Li Yi was so angry he nearly cursed out loud, but in the end, he forcefully swallowed it back. He could only express his urge to scold me awake with a fierce glare. You think that makes sense? Somewhat. Shut up. Li Yi dismissed his battle armor and took a porcelain bottle from his pocket. The moment the stopper was opened, a faint fragrance drifted out. He poured out a crystal-clear pill and carried it with a gust of wind, sending it directly to my mouth. Swallow it. I did not hesitate and swallowed it in one gulp. The pill melted as soon as it entered my mouth. A warm current instantly rushed into my limbs and bones. My body, which had nearly been wrung dry moments ago, felt as if new strength had suddenly been injected into it. The stinging pain in my mind also rapidly disappeared. In less than a minute, I was standing steadily again. What pill was that? A Tier 5 recovery pill. My movements paused. Tier 5. What? I remember one of those costs several million. More or less. Li put away the porcelain bottle, his tone casual, as if he had just given me a piece of candy. I looked at his pocket. Lord Guardian, if you have something to say, say it. There should still be quite a few left in that bottle, right? Li immediately took half a step back. What are you trying to do? I don't mean anything else. My gaze followed the porcelain bottle as it moved. I just think you came all this way, carrying a bottle of pills back and forth. It must be tiring. Why not leave it with me? I'll keep it safe for you. Li stared at me. Doesn't your Lin family have assets worth 9 figures? That's my dad's money. Didn't you just say your family doesn't lack money? Not lacking money is one thing. Getting something for free is another. Li fell silent for 2 seconds, then suddenly laughed. You've got quite the nerve, even daring to covet my things. I straightened my body. Mainly because you're so approachable. Quit flattering me. Although Li said that, he still tossed the porcelain bottle over. I caught it in one grab. You're giving it to me? There are 5 pills left inside. Li reminded me. Below Tier 5, 1 pill is enough. Don't take them consecutively, or the medicinal power will accumulate and damage your body. I immediately put it away. Thank you, Lord Guardian. That one sounded sincere. The earlier ones were sincere too. As if I'd believe you. Li walked over to the alloy target that had been cut in half and reached out to touch the smooth cut. His eyes grew brighter and brighter. Summoning 8 undead, with the strongest reaching late Tier 3. You can also fuse them and temporarily summon a mid-tier 4 undead. One strike severed a high-strength alloy target. Ability intensity far exceeds standard levels. Physical constitution, speed, reaction, and mental strength have all reached the upper limit of the equipment. He turned to look at me. Lin Lang, I will report your performance today exactly as it happened. Report it to whom? The Council of Elders. The smile on my face stiffened. The Xia Nation Council of Elders? Is there a second one? My breathing involuntarily quickened. The Xia Nation Council of Elders. No one in all of Xia Nation was unaware of that name. It was the highest decision-making body formed by 9th rank martial saints, 28 martial saint elders, and 1 grand elder rumored to have already surpassed the 9th rank. They suppressed ferocious beasts, guarded the nation's territory, and decided the most important affairs of Xia Nation. Existences like them usually only appeared in textbooks and national news. And now, I was actually going to be personally evaluated by them. Nervous. Li looked at me. A little. I did not pretend otherwise. That's the Council of Elders. There's nothing to be nervous about. Li patted my shoulder. I came here under the orders of the Council of Elders to inspect you. And now the facts prove that you are even stronger than described in the files. An SSS-Rank ability, and upon first awakening, you can summon a Tier 4 creature. A talent like yours hasn't appeared in Great Xia for decades. I looked at him. How will the Council of Elders arrange things for me? Resources. Cultivation methods. Martial techniques. Famous teachers. Li listed them one by one. As long as you're worth nurturing, the nation will not be stingy. Of course, these things won't be given for nothing. When the nation needs you in the future, you'll also have to step forward. I did not hesitate. That's only right. Although I was a transmigrator, I had lived in Xia Nation for 18 years. My family and friends were all here. If ferocious beasts really dared to invade, there was no way I could hide behind others. Moreover, the strong should stand at the very front. Not for the sake of saying anything grand or beautiful, but because if they took one step back, the people behind them would die. Li looked deeply at me. Remember what you said today. He took out a pendant-like communicator and lightly tapped it with his fingertip. A blue screen of light instantly unfolded. Li, Guardian of Qinghe Province, applying to submit an emergency evaluation report to the Council of Elders. Evaluation subject, Lin Lang. Age, 18. SSS-Rank Special Class Summoning Ability, God of the Undead. Initial ability intensity exceeds the detection limit of Jiangzhou No. 1 High School's equipment. Capable of summoning 8 undead at the same time, with the strongest single unit reaching late Tier 3. The undead can undergo fusion. The fused entity is mid-Tier 4 and can complete one full power attack. Comprehensive evaluation. Lee paused and looked at me. Highest grade. The communicator finished recording. The test video, along with all the data, was instantly transmitted to the Council of Elders headquarters. I could not help asking, how long until there's a result? Normally, something like this requires a meeting and discussion. A few days? Lee shook his head. With the Council of Elders' efficiency, perhaps a few hours. A few hours. I took a deep breath and forcibly suppressed the excitement in my heart. While waiting for the result, my parents and Dong Rue re-entered the training room. The moment my mother saw the mess all over the floor, her expression changed on the spot. Langer, she quickly rushed in front of me. Are you hurt? No. Why is your face so pale? My ability was overused. I've already taken a recovery pill. As soon as I finished explaining, my mother looked at Li. Lord Guardian, an inspection is an inspection, but you can't make my son risk his life, can you? My father's expression changed, and he hurriedly pulled her back. Lung Xiao, how can you speak to Lord Guardian like that? So what if he's the Guardian? My mother shook off his hand. Langer has only just awakened. My father's lips moved, but he did not dare continue persuading her. Li, however, was not angry. Madame Lung is right. I was inconsiderate just now. But Lin Lang's body wasn't damaged. I have already given him a Tier 5 recovery pill. Only after hearing that did my mother's expression ease slightly. I quickly changed the topic. Mom, I just summoned a Tier 4 undead. Tier 4. My father's voice changed. Really? I pointed at the alloy target that had been cut in half. It did that. My father walked over and looked at the cut. His whole body froze. As a peak 5th rank expert, he could naturally tell how powerful that strike had been. You can summon a Tier 4 undead right after awakening. He suddenly turned around, his face flushed with excitement. I knew it. My son Lin Lang has the makings of a 9th rank martial saint. My mother glanced at him. Besides that line, do you know how to say anything else? The facts prove that this line is the most useful. Enough. I rubbed my brow. Dad, if you shout it a few more times, the whole school will know how limited your vocabulary is. Dong Rue stood beside us, wanting to laugh, but not daring to, his shoulders shaking from holding it in. A few hours later, Li's communicator suddenly lit up red. The training room instantly fell silent. The Council of Elders has replied. Li opened the holographic screen and quickly browsed through the contents. A few seconds later, he raised his head and looked at me. Lin Lang, you brat, you've struck it big. My heartbeat sped up. What's the result? A total of 21 Martial Saint Elders participated in this meeting. 16 clearly supported fully nurturing you. The other 5 did not object. The proposal has already been approved by the Grand Elder. 21 Martial Saints had held a meeting because of me. The Grand Elder had personally approved it. Even though I had already mentally prepared myself, at this moment, I still could not help clenching my fists. My father's breathing grew rapid. The Council of Elders has decided to fully nurture Langer? Li nodded. That's right. What's the specific plan? I immediately pressed. Li looked at the screen and read out the items one by one. First, Lin Lang will be listed as a highest-level genius cultivation target of Xian Nation. Second, he will be exempted from the Unified College Entrance Examination and granted special recruitment eligibility for all martial universities nationwide. Third, he may enter any martial university in advance to study. The specific school will be chosen by Lin Lang himself. Fourth, he will be rewarded with 20 million Xian Nation dollars. Fifth, he will be rewarded with a batch of rare spiritual fruits that enhance physical constitution and mental strength. Sixth, after entering a martial university, cultivation resources will continue to be distributed according to his performance. After finishing, he looked at me. The Council of Elders asked me to seek your opinion. Are you willing to enter a martial university early as a specially recruited student exempt from the exam? I am. I did not hesitate at all. Continuing to stay at No. 1 high school would no longer be of much help to me. There were still more than 3 months until the college entrance examination. Was I supposed to summon a tier 4 undead and go duel a group of students who had just awakened? That would not be an exam. That would be one-sided bullying. More importantly, martial universities had more complete cultivation systems, more advanced equipment, and cultivation methods and martial techniques suited for ability users. The system could give me points. The nation could give me resources, taking both at the same time. That was what maximizing efficiency meant. Seeing me agree so decisively, Lee nodded in satisfaction. Not bad. I was worried that after suddenly awakening an SSS-Rank ability, you'd get arrogant and insist on staying in Jiangzhou to be a local tyrant. I glanced at my father. The local tyrant position is already occupied. My father immediately became unhappy. You brat, is that any way to talk about your father? I smiled and continued speaking to Li. Jiangzhou is too small, and my goal isn't just becoming a martial saint. Li narrowed his eyes. It's good for young people to have ambition, but the top 10 martial universities in the country will soon come looking for you. They'll offer all kinds of conditions: money, resources, famous teachers, even personal guidance from martial saints. He walked up to me, his tone becoming serious. Don't only look at who offers the most money. Choosing a school suited to your ability is the most important thing. I'll remember that. The Council of Elders' reward of 20 million and the spiritual fruits will be delivered to the Lin family by a specialist tomorrow. Li Yi put away the communicator. My mission is complete. He was about to leave, but then seemed to remember something and took out a spiritual bead radiating emerald green light. The bead was only the size of a thumb, but the instant it appeared, the surrounding space seemed to freeze. Li Yi handed the spiritual bead to me. Take it. I reached out and accepted it. What is this? For saving your life. Li Yi explained in a deep voice. It contains my power and aura. If you encounter danger you can't resist, crush it immediately. It will form a protective barrier strong enough to withstand an attack from a mid-8th rank grandmaster. At the same time, I will immediately sense your location. I lowered my head and looked at the spiritual bead. The value of this thing could no longer be measured with money. It was equivalent to a life-saving promise from a peak 8th rank grandmaster. Lord Guardian. Just as I opened my mouth, Li Yi raised his hand and interrupted me. There's no need to thank me. If you really want to thank me, then grow stronger as soon as possible. This spiritual bead can only protect you for a while. It can't protect you forever. The only thing truly reliable will always be your own strength. I gripped the spiritual bead tightly and nodded solemnly. I understand. Li Yi once again put on his black battle armor. Cold armor plates swiftly covered his entire body. The aura of a peak 8th rank expert flashed past, and the entire training room trembled. He walked to the door, then turned back to glance at me. Lin Lang. Here. I hope you never have to use that spiritual bead. And I also hope that the next time I see you, you will no longer need it. I smiled. Then you might have to come sooner. Why? If you come too late, I'm afraid I may already have surpassed you. The training room instantly fell silent. My father covered his face with one hand. Dong Rue was so frightened that he did not even dare breathe loudly. Who would dare speak to a peak 8th rank guardian like that? Li stared at me. Not only was he not angry, he instead burst into loud laughter. Good. I'll be waiting. As his words fell, his figure vanished instantly. In the next second, he had already appeared above the school. The hatch of the black fighter jet opened. Li stepped through the air and entered. The jet engine erupted with a low roar, transforming into a streak of black light that quickly disappeared into the horizon. I stood at the entrance of the training room, gripping that spiritual bead. Special recruitment by all martial universities nationwide. A reward of 20 million. Priority cultivation by the Council of Elders. Starting today, my life had completely changed. But this was still far from enough. I opened the system panel. Talent points, 1,000. Looking at the row of options that could be upgraded, the corners of my mouth slowly lifted. The nation's reward would only arrive tomorrow. The martial university's invitations were still on the way, but my system did not require waiting. I silently recited in my heart. System, start adding points. I lowered my head and looked at the protective bead in my hand. Emerald green light slowly flowed within the bead. It could block an attack from a mid-8th rank grandmaster. After being crushed, it could also allow Li Yi to sense my location immediately. How was this a bead? This was clearly an extra life. I carefully put it away, confirming that it would not fall out before turning around to find my parents. They were still waiting outside for the result. As soon as I pushed the door open and entered, my father rushed up to me. How was it? Did Lord Guardian acknowledge you? I deliberately sighed. No. The smile on my father's face instantly froze. How could he not? Your ability is SSS rank. Was there a problem with the testing equipment? Or did you not perform well? My mother also frowned. Langer, what exactly happened? Seeing that they were truly anxious, I stopped keeping them in suspense. I was lying. The test results were all right. My father's eyes widened. What do you mean, all right? My ability intensity exceeded the equipment's upper limit. My physical constitution, speed, and reaction ability all broke records. I counted on my fingers and listed them one by one. I also summoned 8 undead, fused them into a mid-tier, 4 undead, and cut the alloy target in the training room in half with one sword strike. Oh right, I can choose any martial university in the country, and I don't have to take the college entrance exam. The Council of Elders also rewarded me with 20 million Xia Nation dollars and a batch of rare spiritual fruits. The office instantly fell silent. My father's mouth hung open. My mother also froze for several seconds. Principal Dong Rue stood at the side, his expression becoming more and more complicated. My father finally came back to his senses and grabbed my shoulders. Mid-tier 4. You just awakened, yet you can summon a mid-tier 4 undead? Only for 30 seconds. I told the truth. In a real fight, it can launch one move at most. That's still tier 4. My father's face flushed red with excitement. I've cultivated for so many years and only reached the peak of the 5th rank, but you can burst out with tier 4 combat power right after awakening. Langer, your talent is more than just the makings of a martial saint. Dad, keep a low profile. Keep what low profile? He was so excited he nearly cursed on the spot and could only wave his hands forcefully to vent his emotions. My son is this outstanding. Why should I keep a low profile? My mother glared at him. Lower your voice. Don't scare Lang. He wasn't scared when he summoned a tier 4 undead just now. How could I scare him? Though my father retorted with his mouth, his voice immediately dropped. My mother ignored him and pulled me over to check me once. After confirming that I had not suffered any hidden injuries, she finally breathed a sigh of relief. That Guardian Li didn't make things difficult for you, did he? No. I patted my pocket. Before leaving, he even gave me a protective bead. It can block an attack from a mid-8th rank Grandmaster. After I crush it, he'll personally come to save me. My father's hand suddenly trembled. Mid-8th rank. Guardian Li is even willing to personally save you. Yes. My father stared at my pocket, and his gaze changed. Keep it safe. Don't lose it no matter what. Even if the entire Lin family were sold off, we couldn't exchange it for such a life-saving treasure. Don't worry. I patted my pocket. I won't lose it. My father took several deep breaths and only barely managed to calm down. Langer, since the Council of Elders is willing to fully nurture you, you must seize this opportunity. How far the Lin family can go in the future will depend on you. Seeing his serious expression, I also put away my joking manner. Dad, don't worry. I will definitely become stronger. A 9th rank martial saint? That was only the goal others had set for me. With a divine level system, my limit could not possibly be merely 9th rank. My mother raised her hand and stroked my head. It's naturally good if you can become stronger. But Mom hopes even more that you stay safe. If you can't win, run. It's not embarrassing. Don't listen to your father shouting about the makings of a martial saint every day and really go risk your life against others. My father immediately became unhappy. How did this get dragged back onto me again? Aren't you the one shouting it every day? I'm encouraging our son. All right. I quickly stopped them. I'll become stronger, and I'll stay alive too. That's fine, right? Only then were my parents satisfied. Beside us, Dong Rue several times looked as though he wanted to say something, but stopped himself. I looked at him. Principal, if you have something to say it. Well, Dong Rue glanced in the direction of the training room, his smile a little strained. It's actually not anything major. It's just the equipment in the training room. My father immediately waved his hand. Principal Dong, don't worry. The equipment Langer damaged, the Lin family will compensate for it. Tomorrow, I'll have someone send over a new batch. Dong Rue hurriedly declined. No need, no need. The training equipment belongs to the school. Damage during testing can also be considered normal wear and tear. How can that be normal wear and tear? My father waved his hand grandly. My son smashed it, so I, his father, will pay for it. It's decided. Dong Rue was still refusing verbally, but the smile on his face had completely relaxed. I did not expose him either. Although the school had lost a few pieces of equipment, it had gained an SSS-Rank graduate. From now on, number 1 high school only needed to use one slogan in its promotion. The alma mater of SSS-Rank ability, user Lin Lang. Wouldn't all those rich and powerful families in Jiangzhou scramble to send their children here? Compared with that, what were a few pieces of equipment? I even suspected that Dong Rue had already begun wondering whether he should preserve the classroom, desks, and chairs I had used. Sure enough, in the next second, he tentatively asked me, "Student Lin Lang, the desk you used before. Not selling." "No, I was just thinking of placing it in the school's Hall of Honor." "That won't do either." "Why?" I carved words under the desk. Dong Rue froze. "What did you carve?" "I forgot. Actually, I remembered. It was a sentence I had carved when I was bored in class. Sooner or later, I'll be invincible under heaven." If someone had seen it before, they would only have thought I was being cringy. Now it was different. For all I knew, the school might frame it and package it as proof that I had possessed the heart of a strong person since childhood. Too shameful. I had to destroy the evidence. After dealing with the school matters, I followed my parents back to the Lin family residence. On the way, my father answered more than a dozen calls. The Jiangzhou Municipal Government, the Education Bureau, the other 3 major families, and enterprises and ability user forces that usually had good relations with the Lin family. Everyone had only one purpose: to offer congratulations, and, in passing, reevaluate their relationship with the Lin family. In the past, they respected my father because he was the only peak 5th rank ability user in Jiangzhou. Now, they flattered the Lin family because I had awakened an SSS rank ability. A super genius destined to rise was enough to break all of Jiangzhou's existing power structure. My father answered calls until his mouth was nearly crooked from smiling. After hanging up the last call, he turned to look at me. "Langer, do you know how many people wanted to invite us to dinner today?" "Not interested." "Didn't you used to like lively occasions the most?" "That was before." I leaned back against the seat. Now the top 10 Martial universities in the country may all come fight over me. Where would I have time to deal with these people in Jiangzhou? My father froze, then burst into loud laughter. "Well said. Jiangzhou is indeed too small. In the past, your father's vision wasn't broad enough. I was always thinking about holding on to the Lin family's industries. You're different." He patted my shoulder forcefully. "You should go to a bigger place." I nodded. "So, you can attend those dinner parties for me." My father's smile stiffened. "You want me to go to all of them? You're the head of the family. Of course you should personally handle occasions like this." I spoke with complete confidence. "It's not like we can have mom go, right?" My father looked at my mother. My mother also looked at him. "What? You want me to go?" "No need." My father immediately sat up straight. "I'll go." After returning to the Lin family residence, I went straight into my room and locked the door behind me. Finally, quiet. From awakening my ability until now, one thing after another had happened, giving me no time at all to study the system. I collapsed onto the bed and, with a thought, said, "System, open the panel." A familiar screen of light appeared before my eyes. Name, Lin Lang. Level, Awakener, upgradable. Ability, God of the Undead, SSS rank. Constitution, 128, upgradable. Spirit, 145, upgradable. Martial techniques, none. Talent points, 1,000. A full 1,000 talent points. I stared at those plus signs, my breathing gradually quickening. Li Yi had said that no matter how strong one's talent was, it was empty talk if one failed to grow. But he did not know that my growth did not need to proceed step by step. Realms that took others months or even years of cultivation to break through only required me to move my finger. However, before adding points, I still had one question. System, how are talent points obtained? The system will issue missions at irregular intervals. After the host completes a mission, The host can obtain talent points and special rewards. What types of missions? They will be randomly generated based on the host's current situation. Will they be mandatory? No. The host has the right to refuse any mission, but after refusal, the corresponding reward cannot be obtained. I nodded in satisfaction. Good that they were not mandatory. I did not want to suddenly receive some absurd mission one day and be forced by the system to go court death. My gaze returned to the panel. My ability was already SSS rank and could not be upgraded for the time being. Constitution and Spirit could both be increased with points. But tomorrow, the Council of Elders would send over rare spiritual fruits to improve my Constitution and Spirit, so there was no need to waste talent points on them now. There was only one most cost-effective choice. Level. System, upgrade my level. This upgrade requires the consumption of 200 talent points. Confirm? Confirm. As soon as my words fell, a powerful energy instantly erupted from within my body. Boom. My heart beat like a war drum. Blood surged. My bones let out a dense series of soft cracks. The originally thin undead power within my body rapidly increased, expanding several times over in just a few seconds. At the same time, my 5 senses were also strengthening madly. The sound of the wind outside the window, the footsteps of the servants downstairs, the sound of a flying insect in the corner vibrating its wings. Every movement became incomparably clear. Upgrade successful. Host's current level, early first rank ability user. System panel has been refreshed. Name, Lin Lang. Level, early first rank ability user, upgradable. Ability, God of the Undead, SSS rank. Constitution, 206, upgradable. Spirit, 235, upgradable. Martial techniques, none. Talent points, 800. I stood up and slowly clenched my fist. Power. I was far stronger than when I had first awakened. Most importantly, my control over the God of the Undead had also become much easier. Previously, summoning 8 undead had already been close to my limit. After fusing a tier, 4 undead, I had nearly been drained dry on the spot. And now? I raised my hand. Come out. Darkness surged out from the 4 corners of the room. An undead warrior clad in armor and holding a long sword condensed before me. Immediately after, a second one, a third one, 10, 20. The number was still increasing. The room simply could not contain them. One undead after another directly passed through the walls, floor, and shadows, appearing in the corridor, staircase, and villa hall. In a short moment, dozens of black-armored undead warriors were spread throughout the entire Lin residence. All of them possessed the aura of mid-tier 1. I looked at my own hands, my heart pounding wildly. I was only early first rank, yet all of my summons were mid-tier 1, and there were dozens of them. This was the God of the Undead. As long as my mental strength was sufficient, there was no such thing as fighting alone. One can't win. Then send 10. 10 aren't enough? Then I'll shake out 100 more. Just as I was getting excited, a scream suddenly came from downstairs. Who's there? Enemy attack. Hurry, notify the family head. Don't come over. The smile on my face instantly stiffened. Crap, I forgot to notify the people at home. I immediately rushed out of the room. Downstairs had already fallen into complete chaos. Servants were hiding everywhere. The guards gripped their weapons, staring fixedly at those undead warriors, yet no one dared to be the first to attack, because there were too many of them. The entire hall was filled with black-armored undead. Protect the family head. The enemy has already infiltrated the interior of the villa. A guard roared and was about to attack. Stop! Butler Zhao's voice suddenly rang out. He hurried over from the end of the corridor and stood between both sides. Everyone, lower your weapons. One guard became anxious. Butler Zhao, these monsters. They are not enemies. Butler Zhao looked at the black-armored undead, then raised his head to look at me upstairs. This is young master's ability. I quickly walked downstairs. Butler Zhao is right. I summoned all of them. When those black-armored undead heard my voice, they turned around at the same time. Then they all dropped to one knee in unison. Bang! The orderly sound shook the hall. Greetings, my lord. Low voices rang out simultaneously. All the servants and guards froze. A maid hiding behind a pillar cautiously poked her head out. Young master, they really won't hurt anyone? Without my command, they won't attack anyone. I walked up to one undead warrior and patted its shoulder armor. Rise. Whoosh. Dozens of undead stood up at the same time. Their movements were so uniform they looked as if they had been cast from the same mold. The servants, whose faces had still been full of fear moments ago, gradually showed curiosity and awe in their eyes. Someone even secretly reached out, wanting to touch an undead warrior's armor. The undead abruptly turned its head. That person screamed in fright and scrambled back in a panic. I did not know whether to laugh or cry. Don't randomly touch them. Although they won't kill without my command, if they scare someone into a problem, I won't be responsible. Butler Zhao looked at the undead spread throughout the villa, his eyes filled with shock. Young master, how many are there in total? More than 40, I guess. All mid-tier 1. Yes. Butler Zhao sucked in a breath of cold air. For the Lin family to train a first-rank ability user required cultivation methods, resources, and time. But I only had to raise my hand, and I summoned more than 40. They did not need wages. They did not need rest. They did not fear pain, and they would never betray me. How were these summons? They were clearly a completely loyal private army. After a moment of silence, Butler Zhao suddenly suggested, "Young master, could the Lin family's night patrol be handed over to these undead in the future? You really know how to save money." I glanced at him. Sure, but not today. I snapped my fingers. Dozens of undead swiftly turned into black mist and disappeared before everyone's eyes. The hall returned to normal. I waved at the people around me. The misunderstanding is resolved. Everyone disperse. Next time I summon them, I'll notify you in advance. After returning to my room, I reopened the system panel. I still had 800 talent points left. The plus sign behind my level was still lit. Just breaking through to early first rank had already caused the number of summons to skyrocket to more than 40. What if I continued upgrading? System, upgrade my level again. This upgrade requires the consumption of 500 talent points. Confirm? Confirm. Boom. An even greater energy exploded within my body. This time, the commotion was several times stronger than before. Undead power surged wildly through my entire body. My muscles, bones, internal organs, everything was rapidly strengthened under the wash of energy. A moment later, an aura far surpassing the previous one erupted from my body. Upgrade successful. Host current level, mid-first rank ability user. System panel has been refreshed. Name, Lin Lang. Level, mid-first rank ability user. Ability, God of the Undead SSS-Rank. Constitution, 283, upgradable. Spirit, 305, upgradable. Martial techniques, none. Talent points, 300. I closed my eyes and felt the power within my body. I had grown stronger again. If I were to fuse that mid-tier 4 undead now, I definitely would not be as miserable as before. At the very least, I could make it slash a few more times. I once again sensed the undead in the villa. In the next second, a strange scene occurred. The aura of the original 40-plus undead rapidly split. 1 became 2. 2 became 4. Their number had nearly doubled. Soon, shocked cries came from the servants downstairs. Why did they appear again? Wait, there are more of them. There was only 1 just now. Why did it become 2? They can actually reproduce? Sitting in my room, I heard that last sentence and nearly fell off the bed. What freaking reproduction? That's called split summoning after my power increased. Forget it. It would be too troublesome to explain. As long as they did not give my undead any weird names, it was fine. I tried to continue upgrading my level. The system gave no response. The plus sign on the panel had already disappeared as well. Clearly, 300 talent points were not enough. Looks like the further I go, the greater the consumption. I did not add the remaining points to Constitution or Spirit. I would keep these 300 points for now. Once I obtain martial techniques in the future, I could try and see whether the system could directly upgrade them with points. That evening, as soon as I walked into the dining room, my parents looked at me at the same time. Their expressions grew stranger and stranger. I pulled out a chair and sat down. What's wrong? My father put down his chopsticks and stared fixedly at me. Langer, when did you break through? My heart skipped. High-rank ability users were very sensitive to aura. I could not hide it. I could only play dumb. What breakthrough? My mother walked up to me and pressed her hand on my shoulder. A few seconds later, The shock in her eyes grew even stronger. Mid-first rank. Langer, you're already a mid-first rank ability user. My father abruptly stood up. You're really mid-first rank. It's only been a few hours since you came back from school, and you broke through 2 realms in a row? How did you do it? I had already prepared an excuse. I don't know either. I looked innocent. After I returned to my room, I felt the undead power in my body move on its own. Then a warm current rushed through me, and I broke through. My father was somewhat dazed. Both breakthroughs were that simple. Yes, I nodded. The first time, it rushed once. The second time, it rushed again. And then I was mid-first rank. The dining room fell silent. My mother looked at me with a complicated expression. To cultivate to mid-fourth rank, she had paid an unknown amount of time and resources. For my father to reach peak 5th rank, he had experienced countless life and death battles. But when it came to me, I had gone back to my room and lain down for a few hours, then broken through 2 realms in a row. It was indeed somewhat discouraging. After a few seconds of silence, my father suddenly laughed. As expected of an SSS-Rank ability. Only half a day after awakening, and you've already broken through to mid-first rank. At this speed, wouldn't you surpass me in just a few years? I picked up a piece of meat and put it into my mouth. Dad, have a little confidence. It might not take a few years. My father's smile stiffened. You brat, can't you leave me some face? It's going to happen sooner or later. The earlier you accept it, the easier it'll be. My mother could not help laughing. All right. It's a good thing that Langer is improving so quickly. However, if your strength grows too fast, it might also cause your foundation to become unstable. She looked at me seriously. After the resources from the Council of Elders arrive tomorrow, don't rush to consume them. Let those special envoys check you first, then decide how to use them. Understood. I agreed verbally, but I knew very clearly in my heart. The system's upgrades had no side effects. My constitution and spirit also improved in sync when I broke through. Compared with a normal mid-first rank ability user, my foundation was only stronger, not weaker. My father sat down again. As he ate, he suddenly started laughing by himself. I watched him for a long time. Dad, what? What are you thinking about? Nothing. You're smiling a little. I originally wanted to say vulgar, but considering family harmony, I changed the word. A little excited. My father rubbed his nose. I was just thinking, when you become a 9th rank martial saint, will our Lin family count as a martial saint family? At that time, forget Jiangzhou, even across all of Xia Nation, who would dare not give the Lin family face? My mother spoke calmly. Langer hasn't even entered a martial university yet, and you're already thinking about martial saint? Isn't it only a matter of time? The more my father spoke, the more excited he became. What a pity that the Lin family's ancestral graves were lost long ago. Otherwise, I would definitely go back and hold a grand ancestral worship ceremony. The corner of my mouth twitched. Dad, is there a possibility? What? That the ancestors' blessings only played a small part. I pointed at myself. The main reason is still that your son is outstanding. That's right. My father immediately changed his tune. The main reason is that my son is outstanding. At noon the next day, a deep roar suddenly enveloped the sky above the Lin family residence. I immediately put down what I was holding and walked out of my room. A fighter jet dozens of meters long slowly descended. Its entire body was silver black. A striking golden emblem was printed on the fuselage. Seeing that symbol, everyone in the Lin family fell into shock. The Council of Elders. It's the Council of Elders fighter jet. Why would people from the Council of Elders come to the Lin family? Why else? It must be for young master. The fighter jet finally landed in the rear garden. A fierce wind swept through. The surrounding trees shook violently. The hatch opened. 3 figures walked out. 2 men and 1 woman. They wore the uniforms of special envoys from the Council of Elders. They did not deliberately release any pressure, yet I still felt my breathing grow heavy. 2 late 7th rank grandmasters. 1 early 8th rank grandmaster. My father arrived immediately. After sensing the 3 people's auras, his expression turned solemn, and he immediately stepped forward to salute. Lin Hui, head of the Lin family, greets the 3 special envoys. The middle-aged man in the lead slightly raised his hand. Patriarch Lin, no need for excessive courtesy. We have come under orders from the Council of Elders to deliver cultivation resources to Lin Lang. I also quickly walked forward. This junior, Lin Lang, greets the three seniors. The middle-aged man looked at me for a few seconds, and a smile appeared on his face. Not bad. Mid-first rank. It seems that the information Guardianly reported is already somewhat outdated. My father immediately straightened his back. Langer gained some insight after returning home yesterday and luckily broke through. I glanced at him. Good grief. Yesterday, he had still been so shocked he could not speak. Today, he had already learned to make up reasons for me. The middle-aged envoy did not investigate further. It was normal for geniuses to have their own secrets. As long as I bore no hostility towards Xian Nation, they had no need to get to the bottom of everything. He raised his hand. The female envoy beside him immediately handed over an exquisite jade box and a black bank card. The card contains 20 million Xian Nation dollars. The password will be sent to your communication device. Inside the jade box are the resources additionally bestowed upon you by the Council of Elders. I accepted the bank card and the jade box. 20 million. My father sighed softly at the side. To the Lin family, 20 million was not an astronomical figure. But this was the first reward the Council of Elders had given me. Its significance was completely different. I opened the jade box. A dense wave of energy instantly surged out. In the center of the jade box lay a crystal-clear fruit. Faint golden patterns flowed across the surface of the fruit. Just smelling it made my spirit lift. What is this? An S-rank rare spiritual fruit, the Heavenly Soul Saint fruit. The middle-aged envoy explained. It can strengthen both constitution and mental strength at the same time, and its energy is pure, with no obvious side effects. Even within the Council of Elders, the Heavenly Soul Saint fruit is not an ordinary resource. This one is your reward for awakening an SSS-Rank ability. My eyes lit up. Just yesterday, I had been thinking there was no need to add points to Constitution and Spirit for now. And today, the Council of Elders had delivered something over. The system upgraded my level. The nation delivered resources. This feeling of double growth was simply too satisfying. Thank you, Council of Elders. I solemnly put away the jade box. However, the middle-aged envoy did not immediately leave. His expression turned serious. We have come today for a second matter as well. My father also became serious. Special envoy, please enlighten us. The news that Lin Lang awakened an SSS-Rank ability has already begun to spread. Although the Council of Elders is sealing off his detailed information, this kind of matter cannot be concealed for too long. Whether it's the ferocious beast forces or hostile organizations hidden among humans, they may all set their sights on him. My gaze darkened. Sure enough, talent could bring resources, but it could also bring danger. So, I asked directly. The middle-aged envoy looked at me. Before you officially enter a martial university, the three of us will remain at the Lin family residence. We will be responsible for protecting your safety. My father's expression froze on the spot. 2 7th-rank grandmasters and 1 8th-rank grandmaster. Specifically to protect Langer? That's right. The middle-aged envoy's tone was calm. This is the order of the Council of Elders. Looking at the three people before me, I also felt somewhat shaken inside. Yesterday, Li Yi had given me a protective bead capable of blocking a mid-8th-rank attack. Today, the Council of Elders had sent 3 powerful experts to protect me personally. This kind of treatment was probably something only a handful of people in all of Xian Nation could enjoy. My father came back to his senses and quickly spoke. There are many rooms in the Lin residence. If the three of you do not mind, I will immediately arrange the best accommodations for you. No need to trouble yourself too much. The middle-aged envoy waved his hand. We are only responsible for protection and will not interfere with the Lin family's affairs. If there is any abnormality, notify us immediately. Good. My father immediately called Butler Zhao over. Prepare 3 of the best guest rooms. In addition, clear out the eastern courtyard. Without permission, no one is allowed to disturb the 3 special envoys. Butler Zhao bowed in response. Understood. The 3 envoys followed my father and left. When the early 8th-rank grandmaster passed by me, he suddenly stopped. He looked at my pocket. Li Yi gave you the protective bead. I was somewhat surprised. Senior can sense it? It contains his hurricane power. He nodded. Keep it safe. If you truly encounter danger that even we cannot resolve, crush it immediately. I seriously agreed. Understood. After they walked away, I carried the jade box back to my room, closed the door, locked it, opened the jade box. The fragrance emitted by the heavenly soul saint fruit instantly filled the entire room. I held it in my hand. Warm energy continuously seeped into my palm. The system panel did not issue any danger warning. The 3 envoys had also clearly said that this thing had no side effects. Then what was there to wait for? I opened my mouth and took a bite. The fruit flesh melted upon entering my mouth. Boom. A vast energy exploded within my body. A warm current rushed into my limbs and bones. Every inch of muscle and every bone frantically absorbed this power. At the same time, a cool energy surged into my brain. My thoughts became clearer and clearer. My mental strength also began to grow rapidly. I did not stop. In a few bites, I finished the entire heavenly soul saint fruit. After the last trace of energy was absorbed, I abruptly opened my eyes. Snap! With just a light clench of my fist, I actually squeezed the air into making a crisp sound. System, open the panel. The light screen unfolded. Name, Linlang. Level, mid-first rank ability user. Ability, God of the Undead SSS-Rank. Constitution, 341, upgradable. Spirit, 356, upgradable. Martial techniques, none. Talent points, 300. Constitution increased by 58 points. Spirit increased by 51 points. No pain. No aftereffects. There was not even a feeling of an unstable realm. So this is an S-rank spiritual fruit. I grinned. Just 1 fruit had brought me such a huge improvement. What if I had 10 more? 100 more? Just then, the system notification suddenly sounded. Detected that the host has consumed an S-rank heavenly treasure for the first time. Special mission triggered. Mission objective. Within 24 hours, independently kill 1 tier 3 ferocious beast. Mission reward. 500 talent points and 1 special martial technique draw opportunity. I stared at the mission details, and my smile gradually widened. I had just been worrying that the remaining 300 talent points were not enough to upgrade. And now a mission had arrived. A tier 3 ferocious beast? Yesterday, that might have been somewhat troublesome for me. But now, I was already mid-first rank. My constitution and spirit had both broken through 300. And I had nearly 100 undead warriors under me. I stood up from the bed and moved my wrist. Very good. I just finished eating. Perfect timing to go out and digest. That evening, I had just lain down when the system notification suddenly rang out. Detected that the host is about to face an important choice. System mission triggered. Mission requirement. Choose 1 martial university from among those coming to recruit you and enroll there. After officially entering the martial university, the mission reward may be claimed. Accept. My eyes snapped open. A mission had finally arrived. Accept. Mission accepted. Host, please choose carefully. Different martial universities will affect the host's future growth path. The system's voice disappeared. I leaned against the headboard, the corners of my mouth slowly rising. Looks like people from the major martial universities were about to arrive. The Council of Elders had already listed me as a specially recruited student exempt from the exam. I could choose any martial university in the country. After those schools received the news, it would be strange if they did not go crazy fighting over me. Sure enough, that very night, the top 10 martial universities in the country all exploded into action. Skyvault Martial University immediately held an emergency meeting. SSS-Rank ability and its summoning type? This kind of student must enter Skyvault Martial University. The principal slammed his hand on the table and directly looked at Deng Yu, the director of the admissions office. You set out tonight. No matter what conditions the other martial universities offer, we'll match them. Deng Yu tentatively asked. What if Divine Rhyme Martial University also spares no cost? Then we'll spare even less cost than them. At the same time, Divine Rhyme Martial University also issued a strict order. We are the #1 martial university in Xi'an Nation. If Lin Lang doesn't come to us, where else can he go? Contact him immediately. The admissions director will personally head to Jiangzhou. Heavenly Profound Martial University was likewise unwilling to fall behind. An SSS-rank genius appears only once every several decades. Fight for him. As long as we don't shake the foundation of the university, offer whatever conditions you want. Heavenly Dipper Marshall University was even more excited after receiving the news. Because it was located in Qinghe Province, the one near the water gets the moon first. The other schools have to cross provinces. We don't. Set out immediately. We must arrive before everyone else. One school leader hesitated and reminded him, but our national ranking is only 10th. The principal glared at him. So what if we're ranked 10th? We're close. It's convenient for him to go home. If that doesn't work, talk to him about hometown feelings. After a pause, he lowered his voice again. In short, first fool him. No, recruit him in. Early the next morning, a fighter jet landed at the Lin residence. Qian Jihong, the admissions director of Heavenly Dipper Marshall University, was the first to arrive. When he entered, his forehead was covered in sweat. Without even drinking water, he directly pushed the admissions plan in front of me. Student Lin Lang, let me state our position first. Heavenly Dipper Marshall University warmly welcomes you. As long as you're willing to join us, scholarships, cultivation resources, and equipment are all not a problem. I opened the plan and looked it over. It was indeed pretty good. A 10 million scholarship, one full set of A-rank equipment, a fixed monthly distribution of cultivation resources, and I could choose one 7th rank mentor on my own. For an ordinary student, these conditions would be enough to make them sign on the spot. But I was in no hurry. Qian Jihong sat down beside me, his tone growing even warmer. Student Lin Lang, our Heavenly Dipper Marshall University is right here in Qinghe Province. This is our greatest advantage. If you miss home, you can return to Jiangzhou that very same day. What about the other Marshall universities? Even by fighter jet, they'd still have to fly for quite a while. I nodded. That is indeed convenient. Qian Jihong's eyes lit up. Then, about the enrollment agreement. Leave it here for now. I'll consider it further. Qian Jihong's smile stiffened slightly. What else is there to consider? Director Qian. I smiled at him. There are 10 Marshall universities in the national top 10. And right now, only one has arrived. I should at least wait until the other 9 arrive before making a decision, right? Qian Jihong opened his mouth. Clearly, he still wanted to persuade me. But the 3 Council of Elders special envoys were sitting not far away. With them watching, Qian Jihong could not openly try to fool me. He could only give a dry laugh. Student Lin Lang, you really are thoughtful. I picked up my teacup. No choice. I've been clever since I was little. Qian Jihong fell silent. I could even read one sentence from his face. This kid is way too sharp. Not easy to trick. Over the next few days, fighter jet after fighter jet landed at the Lin residence. All of the top 10 Marshall universities in the country arrived. As for the Marshall universities ranked lower, not a single one came. They knew very well. They could not compete. Even if they came, they would only be there to make up the numbers. Rather than waste resources, it was better to preserve their last bit of dignity. Once all the admissions representatives had arrived, I directly invited them into the Lin family conference hall. No private negotiations. Everyone sat together. They would lay their conditions out in the open. Whoever showed the most sincerity, I would choose. The 10 admissions directors sat in a circle, looking at one another. The atmosphere was very friendly. At least, it looked very friendly on the surface. As for whether they were stepping on one another's feet under the table, I had no idea. As soon as I sat down, Zhao Zilin, the admissions director of Dragonrise Marshall University, spoke first. Student Lin Lang, I won't waste time. As long as you join Dragonrise Marshall University, you will receive a 20 million entrance scholarship. A full set of A-rank equipment, including weapons, armor, and combat support devices. You may choose freely from all martial techniques within the university. In addition, we will arrange an 8th rank mentor to provide you with regular guidance. As soon as these conditions were stated, Qian Jihong's eyelids twitched. The 10 million scholarship Heavenly Dipper Marshall University had prepared instantly became somewhat embarrassing to present. But as soon as Zhao Zilin finished speaking, Li Tianhua, the admissions director of Heavenly Profound Marshall University, laughed. That's it. Zhao Zilin turned to look at him. What do you mean? Nothing much. Li Tianhua pushed his own plan in front of me. Student Lin Lang, whatever Dragonrise Marshall University gives, Heavenly Profound Marshall University will give too. On top of that, we'll add 4 S-rank spiritual fruits. 2 to enhance constitution. 2 to enhance spirit. all with no obvious side effects. Zhao Zilin's face darkened. Li, don't you people know how to design your own plan? Why do you have to add things on top of mine? Li Tianhua spread his hands. Because your plan is fairly average, so it's just right to use as a base. Who are you calling average? Whoever gets anxious is the one. Zhao Zilin abruptly stood up. Li Tianhua did not panic either. Leaning back in his chair, he continued provoking him. What? Can't compete with the conditions, so you're preparing to fight. Come on. There's plenty of space outside. Let's fight and let student Lin Lang see what kind of quality Dragon Rise Marshall University's admissions director has. You old bastard, you still talk as annoyingly as ever. Zhao Zilin was so angry, he cursed on the spot. Although he did not actually spit out specific swear words, his posture already made it seem as if he wanted to press Li Tianhua under the table. I knocked on the tabletop. You too. How about we discuss admissions first? If you want to fight, you can fight after I choose a school. The two looked at each other, then sat down at the same time. Yang Feng, the admissions director of Divine Rhyme Marshall University, spoke next. Student Lin Lang, as the #1 Marshall University in the country, what Divine Rhyme Marshall University can offer you is not limited to the resources in front of you. Our faculty, training secret realms, and martial technique collection are all among the very top in Xi'an Nation. Whatever conditions they offer, we will match them all. The scholarship will be raised to 30 million, and we will add one full set of S-rank equipment. The conference hall suddenly fell silent. A-rank equipment and S-rank equipment seemed only one rank apart, but their value was completely different. Especially a complete set of S-rank equipment suitable for ability users. Many 6th-rank ability users could bankrupt themselves and still not afford it. Deng Yu from Skyvault Marshall University immediately followed up. Whatever Divine Rhyme Marshall University gives, Skyvault Marshall University will give the same. Yang Feng looked at him coldly. Do you only know how to follow? As long as it works. We at Dawnlight Marshall University will also match it. Dawnlight Marshall University, ranked 3rd, joined the competition. Immediately afterward, the other schools began raising their offers one after another. 40 million scholarship. Add 2 more S-rank spiritual fruits. 1 bottle of 6th-rank pills. We will provide a new full set of equipment every year. Cultivation resources during enrollment will be doubled. All training secret realms will be opened unconditionally. The conference hall became noisier and noisier. The 10 admissions directors, who normally held prestigious positions, now looked as if they were bidding in a marketplace. Except what they were fighting over was not vegetables. It was me. Qian Jihong sat in the corner, cold sweat continuously beading on his forehead. Several times, he opened his mouth but could not find an opportunity to speak. Seeing the scholarship raised all the way to 50 million, he finally could not hold back. Everyone, recruiting students, is about teaching according to talent. You can't only talk about money and resources. Everyone looked at him at the same time. Zhao Zilin asked, Then what does Heavenly Dipper Marshall University want to talk about? Qian Jihong straightened his back. We're close. If student Lin Lang misses home, he can come back anytime. The conference hall fell silent again. After a few seconds, someone unknown laughed. Immediately afterward, the entire room could not hold it in. Qian Jihong's face flushed red. What are you laughing at? Is being close not an advantage? Deng Yu nodded. It is an advantage. But ability users enter martial universities to cultivate, not to come home for dinner every day. Li Tianhua was even more direct. Old Qian, give up. Heavenly Dipper Martial University can't afford to keep raising. Qian Jihong gritted his teeth. He looked at me and made one last struggle. Student Lin Lang, please consider it again. The resources we offer may be just a tiny bit less. Zhao Zilin could not help undermining him. You call that a tiny bit? The scholarship differs by 40 million. The equipment is 1 rank lower, and the spiritual fruits and pills are incomparable. Shut up. Qian Jihong glared fiercely at him, then looked back at me. But we have human warmth. I nodded seriously. Director Qian, I can feel it. Then you. But I still want to keep looking. Qian Jihong was completely speechless. The competition continued. The conditions rose all the way. Heavenly Dipper Marshall University, ranked 10th, was the first to withdraw. Then came 9th, then 8th. Dragon Rise Marshall University held on for a while, but in the end, it could not withstand it either. Zhao Zilin leaned back in his chair, looking extremely unhappy. Madness. You're all insane. If you keep raising the offers, why don't you just give him the entire university? Li Tianhua also did not last until the end. Before withdrawing, he still did not forget to provoke Zhao Zilin. At least I lasted half an hour longer than you. Zhao Zilin immediately stood up, ready to settle the score with him. In the end, only 3 Martial Universities remained. Ranked first nationwide, Divine Rhyme Martial University. Ranked second nationwide, Skyvault Martial University. Ranked third nationwide, Dawnlight Martial University. The conditions offered by the 3 schools were now completely identical. A 60 million entrance scholarship. 1 set of S-rank equipment every year. 5 S-rank spiritual fruits to enhance constitution. 5 S-rank spiritual fruits to enhance spirit. 1 bottle each of 5th rank, 6th rank, and 7th rank pills. During enrollment, all martial techniques would be opened unconditionally. All advanced training areas and secret realms would be fully open to me. At the same time, an 8th rank grandmaster would be arranged as my mentor. The conference hall fell completely silent. The 3 admissions directors stopped raising the price. It was not that they did not want to. It was that if they raised it any further, it would be difficult to explain when they returned. I waited for a while. That's it. The corners of all 3 people's mouths twitched at the same time. Yang Feng could not help asking, "Student Lin Lang, what else do you want?" I didn't say I wanted anything. I spread my hands. I just got a bit used to it when you suddenly stopped competing. Yang Feng took a deep breath. These are already the highest conditions Divine Rhyme Martial University can offer a specially recruited student. Deng Yu also nodded. It is the same for Skyvault Martial University. The person in charge from Dawnlight Martial University said even more directly. The conditions are already identical. Next, choose a school. I felt a little regretful. Why did they stop competing? I had originally wanted to see where their limits were, but there was no point dragging things out any longer. The conditions offered by the 3 schools were the same. Then I would choose the one with the highest ranking. I looked at Yang Feng. In that case, I choose Divine. Wait. Deng Yu suddenly stood up. I turned to look at him. Director Deng, do you have another condition? Not resources. Deng Yu quickly walked up to me. Student Lin Lang, no matter how many resources there are, they are still external things. The mentor most suited to you is what matters most. My gaze shifted. What do you mean? At Skyvault Martial University, we have a summoning-type mentor. He awakened an S-rank summoning ability. His current realm is early 8th rank Grandmaster. As soon as he said this, the expressions of the other 2 admissions directors changed at the same time. Summoning-type ability users were already rare. Those who could grow to 8th rank Grandmaster were even rarer. Most importantly, the other party's talent had reached S rank. That meant he could not only teach me basic knowledge, but also truly help me master the combat methods of a summoning ability. I immediately pressed further. Can Skyvault Martial University arrange for him to teach me? Deng Yu looked straight at me. Not regular guidance. As long as you join Skyvault Martial University, we will invite him to formally accept you as his student. You will become his personal disciple. Yang Feng's expression turned ugly. Deng Yu, you actually kept this card hidden. Deng Yu smiled. No choice. Skyvault Martial University is ranked 2nd. If we want to compete with you, the 1st-ranked school, we naturally need to keep a trump card. Yang Feng looked at me and immediately added, Student Lin Lang, Divine Rhyme Martial University's summoning department is also not weak. We have multiple 7th-rank summoning-type mentors. And we also have an 8th-rank Grandmaster who can provide you with guidance. I grasped the key point. Is that 8th-rank Grandmaster summoning type? Yang Feng fell silent for a moment. No. What about your highest talent summoning type mentor? A+ rank. The answer was already very clear. A rank and S rank differed only by 1 letter. But in terms of understanding abilities, there could be an enormous gap. Not to mention, the other party was also an 8th rank Grandmaster. The representative from Dawnlight Martial University also did not continue fighting. Our best summoning type mentor is only A rank. On this point, we are indeed inferior to Skyvault Martial University. Yang Feng still refused to give up. A mentor is only one aspect. Divine Rhyme Martial University's overall strength is number 1 in the nation. I nodded. I know. But Skyvault Martial University is only 1 rank lower than Divine Rhyme. Your resource conditions are the same, but it has the mentor most suited to me. There was no longer any need to think about it. I walked up to Deng Yu and extended my hand. Director Deng, I choose Skyvault Marshall University. Deng Yu froze at first. Immediately afterward, he grabbed my hand. Good. Welcome to Skyvault Marshall University. I guarantee you will never regret the choice you made today. Congratulations, host, for completing the first stage of the mission. Make a choice. Please officially enter Skyvault Marshall University. After enrollment, the mission reward will be issued immediately. Hearing the system notification, my mood grew even better. Resources, mentor, system reward. Not a single one was missing. The other admissions directors knew that the result could no longer be changed, so they got up one after another to say goodbye. Qian Jihong walked up to me, his face full of regret. Student Lin Lang, if you ever want to transfer in the future, remember to consider Heavenly Dipper Marshall University first. I felt somewhat helpless. Director Qian, I haven't even enrolled yet, and you're already thinking about making me transfer? Opportunities are something you fight for. He lowered his voice. If Skyvault Marshall University treats you badly, contact me anytime. Although we're ranked 10th, we're close to home. I nodded seriously. I've already remembered that sentence. As long as you remember. Only then did Qian Jihong leave in satisfaction. Yang Feng from Divine Rhyme Marshall University left the slowest. Before stepping out the door, he turned back and glanced at me. Student Lin Lang, the doors of Divine Rhyme Marshall University will always be open to you. If you change your mind, the conditions we promised will remain valid. Deng Yu immediately blocked his line of sight. Director Yang, take care. Yang Feng snorted coldly. Don't get too smug. Winning admissions doesn't mean you'll win the Marshall University League too. Then we'll see each other in the arena. The two stared at each other, the smell of gunpowder thick between them. After everyone else had left, Deng Yu immediately contacted Skyvault Marshall University. Principal, we got him. The other end of the communicator fell silent for 2 seconds before an excited voice came through. Confirmed. Lin Lang personally agreed to join Skyvault Marshall University. Good. Deng Yu, you've made a great contribution this time. Hurry and bring him back. Deng Yu looked at me. Student Lin Lang, when are you planning to report in? The university has already prepared your accommodations, cultivation room, and enrollment resources. As long as you're willing, you can set out today. I thought for a moment. Give me 1 week. I'll handle some matters at home. Of course. Deng Yu agreed readily. You're a specially recruited student exempt from the exam, so there is no strict limit on your reporting date. But it's best not to delay too long. When that summoning-type mentor at the university heard that you awakened the god of the undead, he also very much wanted to meet you. 1 week at the latest. Good. Then I'll remain in Jiangzhou and wait to go with you. Director Deng. The Council of Elders' special envoy beside us suddenly spoke. Deng Yu immediately turned around. Special envoy. You should return to Skyvault Marshall University first. Lin Lang's safety will be handled by us. On the day he reports in, we will personally escort him. Deng Yu immediately understood. The current me was not only a specially recruited student of Skyvault Marshall University. I was also an SSS-Rank genius under the Council of Elders' key protection. There could not be the slightest mishap on the way to enrollment. Understood. Deng Yu nodded respectfully. He turned to remind me. Student Lin Lang, contact me before you set out. I will personally receive you at the school gate. Okay. See you at Skyvault Marshall University. Deng Yu left with a smile. A great admissions war had thus come to an end. 3 days later, Xia Nation's official authorities formally announced the news. Xia Nation has gained a new SSS-Rank ability Awakener. The Awakener's name is Lin Lang. He is 18 years old and comes from Jiangzhou, Qinghai Province. With the approval of the Council of Elders, Lin Lang has obtained special recruitment qualification and exemption from the entrance examination. At present, he has been admitted early by Skyvault Marshall University. Less than 10 minutes after the news was released, it directly shot to #1 on the national trending list. The major cities were completely boiling. SSS-Rank. Is that real? It was officially announced. How could it be fake? How many years has it been since Xia Nation last saw an SSS-Rank ability user? I just awakened an A-Rank ability and thought I was pretty strong. Compared with this guy, I suddenly feel like an ordinary person. You call A-Rank ordinary? That depends on who you're comparing yourself to. Isn't Lin Lang from Jiangzhou, Qinghe province? A small city like that actually produced a monster like him. I heard that as soon as he awakened, he destroyed the school training room's equipment. I also heard he can summon Tier 4 creatures. Summoning Tier 4 right after awakening? That exaggeration is too ridiculous, isn't it? The Guardian personally inspected him, and the Council of Elders personally gave him special recruitment status. What do you think the reason is? Overnight, my name spread throughout Xia Nation. Some were envious, some admired me, and some refused to accept it. SSS rank is only talent. Before he grows up, it means nothing. Let's talk after he truly becomes a martial saint. That statement was indeed not wrong. But even more people had already begun to look forward to the future. As long as Lin Lang doesn't die prematurely, he'll at least become a 9th rank martial saint in the future. Maybe he can surpass 9th rank. The new generation of ability users in Xia Nation is finally about to rise. Ordinary people treated this as a nationwide celebration. But the major ability user families saw something deeper. The ability talents of parents would, to a certain extent, influence their descendants. My parents were both B rank, yet they had given birth to me, an SSS rank. The probability of that was so low, it was almost negligible. And yet, it had really happened. In a certain Grandmaster family, a family head stared at the news for a long time, growing angrier the more he looked. My wife and I both have A rank talents. Why did our son only awaken B rank? The young man standing beside him could not help speaking. Dad, awakening isn't something you can force. Shut up. The family head slammed the table. Both of their parents are B rank, yet their son is SSS rank. Now look at you. The young man was scolded until his face was full of grievance. You can't blame everything on me. Talent isn't something I chose for myself. The family head was so angry his face turned ashen. He raised his hand and pointed toward the door. Get out. I get angry just looking at you. Similar scenes played out in many families. And in the shadows, some people's reactions were even more intense. In a dim room, a man stared fixedly at my photo. SSS rank ability. Xia Nation has actually produced another genius of this level. He swiftly opened an encrypted communication channel. Report this upward immediately. Target, Lin Lang. 18 years old. SSS rank special class ability. Already admitted to Sky Vault Martial University. An icy voice came from the other end of the communicator. Is there an opportunity to eliminate him? The man fell silent for a moment. Not for now. The Council of Elders has sent 3 special envoys to protect him personally, one of whom is an 8th rank Grandmaster. Qinghe Province Guardian Li Yi has also given him a life-saving method. Acting rashly will only expose us. Continue monitoring. Wait for an opportunity. The communication ended. The man looked at me on the screen, his gaze icy. Lin Lang, no matter how strong your talent is, you still need to live long enough to grow. For the time being, I paid no attention to how much the outside world was shaking. Because after the announcement, the gates of the Lin family residence had not had a moment of peace. Almost every notable figure in Jiangzhou had come. Gifts arrived one cart after another. Visiting cards piled high across the table. Some people who had wanted to see my father in the past had to make appointments in advance. Now, they stood outside the Lin family gates for half a day without daring to voice a single complaint. The heads of Jiangzhou's other 3 major families even came together. Jiang family head Jiang Yuntian was the first to walk into the hall. In the past, when he and my father met, they interacted as equals, with neither yielding to the other. But today, the moment he entered, his face was full of smiles. Brother Lin, congratulations. Your noble son awakening in SSS rank ability is a great joy for the Lin family, and also a great joy for all of Jiangzhou. My father sat in the main seat, smiling with great restraint. Brother Jiang, you are too polite. Langer has only just awakened. The future is still long. Jiang Yuntian immediately responded. Brother Lin is far too modest. An SSS rank ability. So long as he grows smoothly, he will surely become a martial saint. The rise of the Lin family can no longer be stopped. After saying that, he directly stated his position. From today onward, the Jiang family is willing to follow the Lin family's lead. If Brother Lin has any instructions, the Jiang family will never refuse. Upon hearing this, the Liao family head, and Hao family head could no longer sit still either. The Liao family is likewise willing to follow the Lin family's lead. The Hao family as well. From now on, Jiangzhou's 4 great families will advance and retreat together. The words sounded nice, but everyone understood. This so-called advancing and retreating together meant the 3 families were lowering their heads to the Lin family. Starting today, Jiangzhou no longer had 4 great families standing side by side. There was only the Lin family, and the other 3 families attached to the Lin family. My father looked at the 3 people before him, and a trace of satisfaction flashed through his eyes. In the past, although the Lin family was the strongest, the other 3 families stuck together, making many things difficult to handle. Now, they had taken the initiative to lower their heads, and my father had not even needed to make a move. This was the deterrence brought by talent. I had not yet become a true powerhouse, but everyone believed I inevitably would become one. Since the 3 of you are so sincere, I naturally will not mistreat you. My father lifted his teacup. From now on, everyone will cooperate. Jiangzhou's cake is very large. If the Lin family eats meat, we will leave some soup for the 3 of you. The 3 family heads immediately stood up. Thank you, Brother Lin. After Jiang Yuntian sat down, however, his gaze kept drifting toward the rear garden. After hesitating for a moment, he finally lowered his voice. Brother Lin, there is something I'm not sure whether I should ask. Speak. That fighter jet in the rear garden. It doesn't seem to belong to the Lin family, does it? The Liao and Hao family heads also looked at my father at the same time. They had noticed it the moment they entered. That fighter jet was astonishingly valuable. Even more frightening was the emblem of the Council of Elders on its body. My father raised his teacup and took a casual sip. You mean that fighter jet? It belongs to the 3 special envoys from the Council of Elders. Jiang Yuntian's body stiffened. Council of Elders, special envoys? My father responded calmly. The 3 special envoys were ordered to protect Lang. They are currently staying at the Lin residence. When Langer reports in, they will personally escort him to Sky Vault Martial University. The hall instantly fell silent. The smiles on the 3 family heads' faces all turned into shock. The Council of Elders had sent people to protect him, and they would personally escort him. Just how much importance did they attach to him? My father glanced at them. As for the specific identities of the 3 special envoys, for your own good, don't ask too much. Jiang Yuntian hurriedly lowered his head. Understood. We absolutely will not inquire. A wave of fear ran through the 3 men's hearts. Fortunately, they had come quickly. Fortunately, they had lowered their heads early. The Lin family had even built a connection with the Council of Elders. If they still dared to band together and compete with the Lin family, they might not even know how they died in the future. When the 3 left, their waists were bent even lower than when they had arrived. That day, number 1 high school's principal, Dong Rue, also came. He did not come empty-handed. He also brought a bank card. Mr. Lin, this is a 1 million scholarship prepared for Lin Lang by the Jiangzhou Education Bureau. The amount may not compare to the Council of Elders and Sky Vault Martial University, but it is also a token of the Education Bureau's goodwill. My father did not decline. Please thank Director Zhou on my behalf. Dong Rue smiled so widely his mouth could barely close. No need to thank us. Student Lin Lang came from number 1 high school. A reward is only right. When he said this, his back straightened. In recent days, the phone lines at No. 1 high school had nearly exploded. Countless parents were racking their brains trying to transfer their children in. There was only one reason. Number 1 high school was the alma mater of SSS-Rank ability user Lin Lang. The Education Bureau had not only given me 1 million, it had also allocated a large special fund to number 1 high school to renovate the training room, upgrade awakening equipment, and build a new ability training ground. Recently, Dong Rue could even wake up laughing from his dreams. After handing the bank card to my father, he tentatively asked, Mr. Lin, there is one more small matter. Principal Dong, please speak. The school is preparing to establish an outstanding alumni hall of honor. We would like to place some items that student Lin Lang used on display. As soon as my father heard this, he immediately became interested. That's a good thing. I happened to be coming down from upstairs. Hearing this, my steps instantly stopped. What items? Dong Rue looked at me and smiled very warmly. For example, the desk you used. No, I refused decisively. My father looked at me in confusion. It's just a desk. Why not? Because… I paused for 2 seconds. That desk contains my personal secrets. Dong Rui became even more curious. What secrets? I can't say. The sentence under the desk, sooner or later, I'll be invincible under heaven, absolutely could not be discovered by them. Otherwise, with Dong Rui's personality, he would definitely put it in a glass display case and add a line of introduction. Young Marshal Saint revealed his invincible ambition from childhood. Too embarrassing. I looked directly at Butler Zhao. Uncle Zhao, young master, please give your instructions. Send someone to the school. Buy my desk back. Dong Rui froze. What are you buying it back for? Without changing expression, I said, chop it up. Use it as firewood. After Dong Rui delivered the scholarship, he did not leave immediately. He rubbed his hands together, his smile even warmer than before. Mr. Lin, I have another presumptuous request. My father looked at him. Principal Dong, please speak. Lin Lang is about to go to Sky Vault Marshall University. Dong Rui's tone was sincere. I would like to invite him to return to number 1 high school before leaving Jiangzhou and say a few words to all the teachers and students. It can count as sharing his experience and also as a formal farewell. I was coming downstairs at that moment, and my steps paused when I heard it. A school-wide speech. My instinct was to refuse. But Dong Rui immediately continued. Lin Lang awakening an SSS-Rank ability has greatly stimulated the students at the school. If he can come forward and encourage everyone, perhaps it can make this year's students push themselves one more time before the college entrance exam. Of course, it won't take too long. After considering briefly, my father nodded. No problem. I'll tell Langer about this. I narrowed my eyes from the staircase. Dad, didn't you agree a little too quickly? But since the words had already been spoken, I did not expose him in front of everyone. That evening at dinner, my father indeed brought it up. Langer, Principal Dong wants to invite you back to number 1 high school to give a speech. I put down my chopsticks. You agreed? My father's movement stiffened. I only agreed preliminarily. If you really don't want to go, I'll help you refuse. I'll go. I did not make things difficult for him. The matters at home are almost settled. In a few days, I'll go to Sky Vault Marshall University. It's a good chance to go back and see my teachers and friends. My mother placed a piece of meat into my bowl. You should go back. After you go study out of town, it won't be so convenient to see your classmates again. I nodded. From the moment I awakened an SSS-Rank ability, most of my classmates and I were destined to walk different roads. It was not that I looked down on them. It was that this world was simply too realistic. Talent, strength, resources, each of these could infinitely widen the distance between people. Some would remain in Jiangzhou. Some might enter ordinary Marshall universities. And I would enter Sky Vault Marshall University, ranked 2nd in the nation, ahead of time. When we met again, it truly was hard to know when that would be. A few days later, I arrived at number 1 high school by car. As soon as we reached the school gate, I was startled by the scene before me. Colorful flags, banners, flowers, reporters, cameras. Above the main school gate hung a striking line of large characters. Farewell to student Lin Lang. May your future be bright and your martial path glorious. Sitting in the car, the corner of my eye twitched. Butler Zhao asked softly, Young master, should we drive straight in? No. I stared at the group of reporters outside the school gate. Is it still in time to turn around? I'm afraid not. Butler Zhao looked out the window. Principal Dong is already coming over. The moment the car door opened, Dong Rui quickly came forward and grabbed my hand. Student Lin Lang, welcome back to school. The entire school's teachers and students are waiting for you. The reporters around us immediately surrounded us. Flashes went off wildly. Student Lin Lang, may I ask how you feel after awakening an SSS-Rank ability? Why did you choose Sky Vault Marshall University? It is said that you have received key cultivation from the Council of Elders. Is that true? What are your plans for the future? Questions came one after another. I raised my hand. Everyone. I came today to say goodbye to my teachers and classmates. As for other questions, I'll answer them if there's a chance in the future. The reporters clearly did not want to give up, but they were blocked outside by the school security guards. Dong Rui took the opportunity to pull me into the school. I looked at him. Principal, what is it? Didn't you say I would just casually say a few words? That's right. What's with all those reporters outside? When they heard you were coming back, they applied to interview you on their own initiative. Dong Rui looked completely innocent. I couldn't exactly refuse. I pointed at the sports field again. What about the 1,000+ students? All teachers and students naturally have to attend. And the live stream equipment. Jiangzhou TV wants more people to hear your speech. I stopped walking. Principal Dong. Did you interpret casually say a few words as a nationwide live stream? Dong Rui gave a dry laugh. Not nationwide. At present, it's only a Jiangzhou local live stream. At present? I caught the key point. This old fox clearly wanted to make the scene as grand as possible. After all, the more famous I became, the more benefits number 1 high school would receive. Since I was already here, it was impossible for me to turn around and leave. Where's the speech draft? It's been prepared long ago. Dong Rui brought me into the office and took a thick manuscript from the drawer. I accepted it and flipped through a few pages, my brows slowly furrowing. You call this a few words? It's not much content. It's 8 full pages. The font is relatively large. Why is there even a story about how I studied diligently at 3 years old and resolved to serve Xi'an Nation? Dong Rui looked serious. Isn't this to highlight that you had great ambitions from childhood? I looked up at him. When I was 3 years old, my greatest ambition was to eat vegetables 2 fewer times a day. Details aren't important. And this part, I pointed at the speech draft. The reason I was able to awaken an SSS-Rank ability is inseparable from number 1 high school's cultivation of me. Isn't ability awakening innate? The school mainly cultivated your spirit and character. Principal. What? Your skin is at least SSS-Rank thick. Dong Rui coughed. You flatter me. I quickly scanned the draft. After becoming an ability user, my memory far surpassed that of ordinary people. After reading it only once, I had already memorized the entire thing. But asking me to completely read it as written was truly a bit difficult. Some of the content was too cheesy. Even I could not stand listening to it. Before long, the broadcast sounded. Please keep quiet, all teachers and students. The farewell ceremony now begins. I followed Dong Rui toward the sports field. As soon as I appeared, the entire field erupted into deafening cheers. Lin Lang. Class monitor. Brother Lang. SSS-Rank. I walked onto the stage and looked down. All the teachers and students of the school had gathered on the field. All the cameras were aimed at me. Class 1 of the 3rd year stood at the very front. Those familiar classmates were waving at me desperately. Hao Jiang was also in the crowd. On the day of the awakening ceremony, he had still wanted to use his B-rank ability to suppress me. Now, however, he was extremely obedient and did not even dare meet my eyes. I did not continue making things difficult for him. The gap had already widened. If I still clung to that small conflict from before, it would only make me seem petty. On the field, discussions continued. The class monitor really came to say goodbye. He only awakened a few days ago, yet he's already a mid-first rank ability user. Mid-first rank. That cultivation speed is way too exaggerated. He's SSS rank. What are you comparing yourself with? I heard that all the top 10 martial universities in the country came to fight over him. And in the end, Skyvault Martial University only recruited him after offering a 60 million scholarship. More than 60 million. There's also S-rank equipment and a huge pile of spiritual fruits and pills. Whether I can earn 60 million in this lifetime is already a problem. Don't think about it. It'll only make you sad. Listening to the discussions below, I picked up the microphone. The field gradually quieted down. I opened the speech draft, glanced at it, then closed it and placed it aside. Standing below the stage, Dong Rui's expression changed, and he frantically winked at me. I pretended not to see. Whoever wanted to read that draft could read it. There was no way I was saying those cheesy words. Hello, everyone. I'm Lin Lang. A few days ago, just like all of you, I stood on this sports field waiting for awakening. I was very nervous. I was also afraid my talent would be too poor. Someone in the audience laughed. Class monitor, you were scared too? I looked in the direction of the voice. Of course I was scared. If my awakening failed, I could only go home and inherit assets worth 9 figures. The entire field first fell silent, then laughter exploded. That's infuriating. Is that even something a person says? Don't stop me. I want to rush up and hit him. Can you beat nearly 100 undead? Then forget it. I also smiled and continued. But to be honest, awakening an SSS rank ability was not because I worked harder than you. Talent is innate. There is no need to pretend otherwise. The audience grew quiet again. The reporters all aimed their cameras at me. These words were obviously not in the draft Dong Rue had prepared. Some people awaken A rank, some awaken C rank, and some only awaken D rank or E rank. Talent will indeed affect how far you can go. But before you reach the end, no one has the right to admit defeat on your behalf. I looked toward those students with dejected expressions. So what if you're D rank? Does D rank mean you can't become an ability user? That you can't kill ferocious beasts? That you can't protect your own family? In the crowd, a student who had awakened a D rank ability slowly raised his head. I raised my voice. You can admit that your talent is inferior to others, but you cannot refuse to even try just because your talent is inferior. It doesn't matter if others look down on you. You yourself cannot kneel first. The sports field fell completely silent. I did not say too many grand truths, because I was not some life mentor either. There are still more than 3 months until the college entrance examination. If you want to enter a martial university, then go train. If your ability is weak, train martial techniques. If your physique is poor, exercise. If you lack resources, find a way to earn them. Don't sit in the classroom every day shouting that it's unfair. This world was never fair to begin with. When ferocious beasts charge into a city, they won't spare you just because your talent is poor. My voice spread throughout the field. I am about to leave Jiangzhou. For most of you, I may not see you again in the future. But I hope that the next time I hear your names, it won't be on a casualty list, but on a martial university admission list, an ability user merit ranking, or in news about defending a city. I clenched my fist and tapped it against my chest. Everyone, see you at Skyvault Martial University. See you at greater heights. After a brief silence, the entire field instantly boiled over. See you at Skyvault Martial University. Class monitor, I'll definitely get in. See you at greater heights. Applause and cheers resounded through the school. Even many teachers stood up. Dong Rue looked at me, the nervousness on his face finally vanishing, replaced by excitement. Although I had not read the draft, the effect was clearly better than the content he had prepared. I walked down from the stage. Dong Rue immediately came up to me. Well said. That was excellent. Student Lin Lang, I plan to cut that segment into next year's school admissions promotional video. My footsteps paused. Charge a fee. What? My portrait rights. The smile on Dong Rue's face stiffened. Do you still lack that bit of money? No. I looked at him. But I can't let you take advantage of me for free. Dong Rue lowered his voice. The school will return that desk to you. Deal. After the farewell ceremony ended, I did not leave immediately. I returned to class 1 of the 3rd year. The classroom still looked the same as before. The seats had not changed either. But when I walked in again, everyone looked at me differently. Oh, envy. And a trace of unfamiliarity. Yuan Xiaoxiao stood beside the podium. Today, she was not wearing her usual professional outfit, but a white long dress. She looked a little less stern and a little warmer. Welcome back, Teacher Yuan. I walked up to her. I've caused you trouble over these 3 years. You actually know that? Yuan Xiaoxiao glared at me. Sleeping in class, skipping pee, and even carving random words under your desk. My expression froze. Teacher, there's no need to mention the last one. The students immediately became interested. What did the class monitor carve? Teacher Yuan, hurry and tell us. Was it some girl's name? I instantly looked at Yuan Xiaoxiao. She held back a laugh. Relax. I'll leave you some dignity. I let out a breath of relief. Yuan Xiaoxiao looked at me, and gradually, a trace of gratification appeared in her eyes. Lin Lang. Being able to teach an SSS rank ability user is the greatest honor of my career. After entering Skyvault Martial University, cultivate properly. Don't slack off just because your talent is high. In this world, far more geniuses die than grow up. I nodded seriously. Teacher, I'll remember that. When we meet next time, I'll definitely make you even prouder. Good. Yuan Xiaoxiao reached out and patted my shoulder. I'll be waiting. As soon as she finished speaking, Zhang Zian rushed over from the side and wrapped an arm around my shoulder. Brother Lang, you're finally back. The moment he touched me, his expression changed. Wait. Your aura. Zhang Zian abruptly stepped back 2 paces and sized me up from head to toe. You've become an ability user? What rank? Mid-first rank. The classroom instantly exploded. Mid-first rank. It's only been a few days since awakening. I haven't even touched the threshold of early first rank yet, and the class monitor is already mid-first rank. Zhang Ziyan stared at me, his gaze filled with grief and indignation. Can the gap between people really be this big? I patted his shoulder. You'll get used to it. I can't get used to it. He pointed at himself. I'm human too. Are you sure? Lin Lang. Zhang Ziyan was so angry he almost cursed, but since the teacher was still there, he could only forcefully swallow it back down. His expression twisted dramatically. I smiled and bumped fists with him. Just kidding. Prepare well for the college entrance exam. If you get the chance, come find me at Skyvault Marshall University. Zhang Ziyan rolled his eyes. You think everyone is like you? I only have a C-rank ability. Skyvault Marshall University is second in the country. What am I supposed to use to get in? How do you know before you try? I looked at him. C-rank is indeed a bit low. But Skyvault Marshall University doesn't only look at ability rank. If your cultural subjects, practical combat, and physique tests are strong enough, you still have a chance. Zhang Ziyan fell silent for a moment. Really? Why would I lie to you? I clenched my fist and lightly thumped his chest. Brothers are kept in the heart. If you really get in, I'll protect you. Zhang Ziyan's eyes slowly lit up. Fine. With those words from you, I'll give it my all. But what if I really don't get in? Then go to another Marshall University. There isn't only one path to becoming an ability user. I looked at him. As long as you don't admit defeat. Zhang Ziyan nodded hard. Understood. After that, I said goodbye to my classmates one by one. Some asked me for autographs. Some wanted photos with me. There were even a few girls who had barely spoken to me before. Their faces flushed red as they stuffed gifts into my hands, then turned and ran away. Zhang Ziyan leaned over and teased me in a low voice. Brother Lang, your luck with women isn't shallow. I looked at the gift boxes in my hands. Why didn't I see them being this proactive before? Before, you were the young master of the Lin family. Zhang Ziyan looked serious. Now, you're a future martial saint. Can that be the same? Makes sense. Want to open them and take a look? No. I directly put the gifts into my luggage bag. What if they're love letters? Wouldn't that make it even more worth looking at? If I look, they'll think they have a chance. When did you become so clear-headed? From the moment I discovered I was too outstanding. Zhang Ziyan stared at me for a few seconds. You should hurry up and leave. I'm afraid I won't be able to stop myself from hitting you. When I left number 1 high school, the school broadcast sounded again. Dong Rui personally gave the final farewell. May student Lin Lang's martial path flourish and his future stretch 10,000 miles. I stood at the school gate and looked back. 3 years of high school life had ended just like that. From today onward, I was no longer a student of number 1 high school. My next stop was Skyvault Marshall University. After returning to the Lin residence, I did not delay any longer. Early the next morning, the Council of Elders fighter jet had already completed preparations for takeoff. I dragged my luggage into the rear garden. My parents were standing beside the fighter jet. My mother's eyes were slightly red, but she was trying hard to keep smiling. After arriving at the Marshall University, remember to send word home that you're safe. I know. Eat on time. Okay. Don't casually fight with people. I looked at her. Mom, that's a Marshall University. Sparring between students is normal. Sparring is fine, but don't act tough. She helped me straighten my collar. If you can beat them, fight. If you can't, run. If anyone dares laugh at you, have your father go deal with them. My father froze. Why me? My mother glanced at him. You won't go. I'll go. My father immediately straightened his back. Whoever dares bully my son, I'll be the first to refuse. I could not help reminding him. Dad, there's more than one 8th rank grandmaster at Skyvault Marshall University. Are you sure you want to go? My father fell silent for 2 seconds, then patted my shoulder. Son, when you encounter problems, try your best to solve them yourself. I almost laughed out loud. That attitude changed fast enough. My father took out a bank card and handed it to me. There are 30 million in this card. After you arrive at the Marshall University, keep it as pocket money. 20 million was the reward the Council of Elders had given me. 1 million came from the Education Bureau. The remaining 9 million was added by my father himself. 30 million as pocket money. If word got out, who knew how many people would be angered to death? I did not take it. Dad, keep it. Skyvault Marshall University still has a 60 million scholarship waiting for me, and the university will cover all my cultivation resources. If I keep 30 million with me, I won't be able to use it for the time being. You should use it to expand the Lin family's businesses. When I need something later, you can buy it for me. My father looked at the bank card, thought for a moment, and decisively withdrew it. Makes sense. Then I won't give it to you. The corner of my mouth twitched. Dad, didn't you agree a little too quickly? Didn't you tell me to keep it? Can't I be polite? Why be polite between father and son? He said it with perfect confidence. For a moment, I actually could not refute him. My mother glared at him, then handed the luggage to me. Don't listen to your father. If you're short on money, tell Mom. Mom has private savings. My father abruptly turned his head. You still have private savings? My mother's expression remained calm. What? I don't. My father changed his words decisively. I didn't hear anything. I took the luggage and boarded the fighter jet. The cabin door slowly closed. Through the porthole, I waved at my parents. Dad, Mom, I'm leaving. My mother waved hard. Take care of yourself. As for my father, he shouted at the top of his lungs. Son, don't forget, you have the bearing of a 9th-rank martial saint. Inside the fighter jet, the 3 Council of Elders special envoys all looked at me. I covered my face. This joke probably was not going away. The early 8th-rank Grandmaster envoy sat in front and asked me with a smile. Everything has been handled? It has. We can depart. He nodded, then spoke. Shaoling. Here, Master. Destination, Fuyang City, Muron Province, Skyvault Marshall University. Depart immediately. Command confirmed. Estimated flight time, 2 hours. Boom. The engine started. A powerful thrust sent the fighter jet into the sky. The Lin family villa quickly shrank below. Jiangzhou also gradually faded from my sight. I leaned against the seat, feeling both reluctant and excited. In 18 years, this was my first time truly leaving Jiangzhou. What exactly was the world outside like? And within Skyvault Marshall University, how many true geniuses and powerhouses were there? I was very much looking forward to it. After the fighter jet entered stable flight, I began examining the internal equipment. All kinds of holographic screens, energy instruments, and weapon control devices dazzled me. Shaoling, I am here. You can understand me? Yes. Then can you chat? I possess basic communication and emotion recognition functions. Tell me a joke. Apologies. My primary responsibilities are flight, navigation, communication, and combat assistance. I looked at the special envoy beside me. Isn't this just a premium version of a navigation system? The special envoy could not help laughing. Shaoling's function is not limited to navigation. This fighter jet is equipped with high-precision reconnaissance, automatic defense, and energy weapon systems. Even if the pilot loses combat ability, Shaoling can independently complete combat and return flight. I became interested. How strong is its combat power? Its frontal firepower is enough to instantly kill most 7th-rank ferocious beasts. When facing 8th-rank ferocious beasts, it can also restrain them for some time. I sucked in a cold breath. That's strong. Otherwise, why do you think one fighter jet sells for an astronomical price? The envoy leaned back in his seat. Even if ordinary grandmasters can afford to buy one, they can't afford to maintain it. Every attack consumes energy, and energy is money. Maintenance, repairs, upgrades, even more money. To put it simply, when this thing fires, what it burns isn't energy. It's stacks and stacks of Xia Nation currency. I nodded. Understood. Poor people don't deserve to fly fighter jets. You could understand it that way. I continued asking. If an artificial intelligence is responsible for firing, won't it accidentally injure people? No. Shaoling can distinguish targets through radar, energy fluctuations, and life signals. Unless interfered with by high-level spirit-type abilities, the probability of misjudgment is extremely low. As soon as he finished speaking, a piercing alarm suddenly sounded. Warning! High-energy life form detected rapidly approaching. Distance, 80 kilometers. 70 kilometers. Target has locked onto this aircraft. The fighter jet suddenly shook. The smiles on the faces of the 3 special envoys instantly disappeared. A holographic radar automatically unfolded. A huge red point of light was rapidly approaching. Shaoling quickly reported. Target confirmed. Late 7th rank ferocious beast, wind-rending mad vulture. Danger rating, A dash dot. Target has strong hostile intent. I immediately looked out the porthole. In the distance, a giant ferocious beast with a wingspan of over 100 meters tore through the clouds. Its wings were like blades, and its entire body was covered in dark cyan-black feathers. Each flap of its wings stirred up enormous storms. In the blink of an eye, it crossed dozens of kilometers. Roar! Its roar pierced through the fighter jet's outer shell. The lights inside the cabin flickered. I gripped the armrest tightly. A late 7th rank ferocious beast. If a monster of this level charged into Jiangzhou, it would probably be able to destroy half the city in a short period of time. But the envoy sitting up front only glanced at it once before sneering. A wind-rending mad vulture? This brainless thing dares attack a council of elders fighter jet? I could not help asking, do you need to act? No need. The 8th rank envoy looked at me, a smile appearing at the corner of his mouth. Didn't you want to see the fighter jet's attack system? Now, the opportunity is here. My eyes lit up. It can really kill it instantly? Watch. He raised his hand. Xiaoling. Master, please issue your command. Lock onto target. Release weapon restrictions. Kill the wind-rending mad vulture. Command confirmed. Main cannon charging. Buzz. A low vibration came from within the fighter jet. The cannon muzzle at the front swiftly unfolded. A dazzling blue-white light began gathering. The wind-rending mad vulture clearly sensed danger. It let out a furious roar and suddenly slashed down with both wings. Dozens of wind blades instantly tore open the clouds and blasted toward the fighter jet. Attack detected. Defensive barrier activated. A transparent energy barrier instantly enveloped the fighter jet. Boom, boom, boom. The wind blades repeatedly struck the barrier. The body of the aircraft shook slightly, but the barrier did not even show a crack. At the same time, Xiaoling's cold voice sounded. Main cannon fully charged. Target locked. Fire. Boom. A blue-white pillar of light instantly pierced through the sky. Fast. So fast the wind-rending mad vulture had no time to dodge. It had only just let out a terrified screech when the beam directly pierced through its chest. Immediately afterward, the enormous energy exploded inside its body. Bang! Flesh and blood burst apart. Feathers scattered throughout the sky. A late 7th rank ferocious beast transformed into a rain of blood right before my eyes. From locking on to killing, the entire process took less than 10 seconds. I stared out the window and did not speak for a long time. The envoy looked at me. How does it feel? I slowly spat out 2 words. Absurd. Late 7th rank. In Jiangzhou, that would be an existence everyone looked up to. Yet before this fighter jet, it could not even withstand 1 shot. That was only the standard main cannon. The envoy continued. At full power, it can also instantly kill peak 7th rank ferocious beasts. Of course, the cost is enormous. How much did that shot just cost? I was a little curious. The envoy gave a number. I fell silent. 1 shot, and a luxury mansion was gone. No wonder only major forces and top powerhouses could afford to play with this kind of thing. Technology was truly powerful and truly expensive. I looked in the direction where the wind-rending mad vulture had fallen, and the undead power within my body stirred slightly. You're not taking that corpse? It's already been blown apart. It has little value. You should have said so earlier. My face was full of heartache. A 7th rank ferocious beast. How good would it have been to leave a whole corpse? You wanted it. If the corpse were intact, maybe I could transform it into an undead. The 3 special envoys looked at me at the same time. You can summon dead ferocious beasts. Not sure for now. I spread my hands. But the god of the undead probably shouldn't only be able to summon from nothing. If there's an opportunity in the future, I can try. The 8th rank envoy nodded thoughtfully. After arriving at Skyvault Martial University, you can apply for corpses from the Ferocious Beast Materials Warehouse. Forget 7th rank. There are even 8th rank Ferocious Beast remains there. My eyes lit up. Skyvault Martial University really was the right choice. There were no more attacks for the rest of the journey. 2 hours later, Xiaoling issued a notification. Approaching destination. Fuyang City, Morong Province. Skyvault Martial University. I looked down through the porthole. An enormous martial university appeared upon the land. Mountains, lakes, training fields, tall towers. and clusters of buildings filled with a sense of advanced technology. Skyvault Marshall University's area was almost equivalent to a small city. From time to time, ability users flew through the sky. On a training field in the distance, there were even people fighting ferocious beasts. My heart grew hot as I watched. This was the true place for cultivating powerhouses. The fighter jet slowly descended. People were already waiting around the landing pad. After the cabin door opened, I dragged my luggage and walked out. Deng Yu was the first to greet me. His face was full of smiles, and he extended his hand from far away. Student Lin Lang, welcome to Skyvault Marshall University. I shook his hand. Director Deng, we meet again. I've been waiting for you for several days. Deng Yu glanced at the 3 special envoys behind me and immediately bowed respectfully. Greetings, special envoys. The 8th rank envoy nodded slightly. He has been safely delivered. From now on, Lin Lang's safety will be the responsibility of Skyvault Marshall University. Deng Yu's expression turned solemn. Please rest assured, Council of Elders. At Skyvault Marshall University, no one can harm our students. The 3 special envoys turned to look at me. Lin Lang, we are returning to report. I bowed solemnly. Thank you, seniors, for protecting me during this period. No need to be polite. The leading envoy patted my shoulder. Cultivate hard. Don't waste the Council of Elders' expectations for you. Understood. I stepped off the fighter jet. The cabin door closed. The engine started again. The fighter jet swiftly rose into the air, transforming into a streak of light and disappearing into the sky. Deng Yu stood beside me and said with a smile, Let's go. I'll take you to complete the enrollment procedures first. What about the rewards you promised? I asked directly. The smile on Deng Yu's face stiffened. You're asking about rewards as soon as you arrive at school? What else? I looked at him. 60 million scholarship. 1 set of S-rank equipment every year. S-rank spiritual fruits. 5th rank, 6th rank, and 7th rank pills. And access rights to martial techniques and training secret realms. Director Deng, you haven't forgotten, have you? Of course I haven't. Deng Yu did not know whether to laugh or cry. Skyvault Marshall University is not so shameless as to default on a student's rewards. The resources are being allocated. At the latest, within 1 week, everything will be delivered to your dormitory. That's good. I nodded. Even brothers must settle accounts clearly. Your personality really doesn't seem like that of a student who just turned 18. I was scared by poverty. Deng Yu looked at me with a complicated expression. Your family has assets worth 9 figures. You call that poor? Compared with Skyvault Marshall University, isn't it poor? Deng Yu had nothing to say. Under his lead, I quickly completed the enrollment procedures. Student ID, dormitory key, uniform, and a black smart bracelet. I put on the bracelet. The screen immediately lit up. Identity recognition successful. Student name, Lin Lang. Freshman rating, SSS-Rank. Credit balance, 500. I stared at the last line. What is this 500? Credits. Deng Yu explained while leading the way. At Skyvault Marshall University, credits are more useful than Xia Nation currency. Meals, accommodations, training, buying weapons, exchanging for pills and spiritual fruits, all require credits. 1 credit roughly has the purchasing power of 10,000 Xia Nation currency. My footsteps stopped. So these 500 credits are worth 5 million? That's only theoretical value. Deng Yu shook his head. Many things in the school mall can't be bought outside at all. So if you really calculate it, 500 credits are worth far more than 5 million. How do I get credits? There are many methods. Complete school missions. Hunt ferocious beasts. Challenge rankings. Participate in the Marshall University League. Or help the university complete research. Deng Yu pointed at my bracelet. Your initial rating is SSS rank. So you receive 500 credits fixed every academic year. What about ordinary students? Depending on rating, they receive between 10 and 100 credits. The difference is that big? No choice. Deng Yu looked at me. A Marshall University isn't a charity. Resources are limited. We must prioritize cultivating those with the greatest potential. Of course, ratings are not fixed. If performance is poor, they drop. If performance is outstanding, they can rise. What if other students don't accept my rating? I asked directly. Deng Yu answered just as directly. Then they can challenge you. Skyvault Marshall University encourages competition. The university gives you SSS rank treatment because your talent and potential are worth it. But if you want to keep this treatment forever, you need to speak with strength. I smiled. That rule isn't bad. I was not afraid of others challenging me. On the contrary, I was afraid no one would come. After walking for over 10 minutes, Deng Yu stopped in front of a villa. We're here. I looked up. Independent courtyard. 3-story villa. Private training room. There was even a small outdoor swimming pool in the back. I looked at Deng Yu. This is a dormitory? Yes. You people at Skyvault Marshall University call this a dormitory? What else would we call it? A mansion. Deng Yu smiled and handed me the key. Skyvault Marshall University covers a large area. We aren't short on residences. Student dormitories are divided into 4-person rooms, double rooms, and single rooms. The higher the rating, the better the living conditions. This villa was originally a 2-person dormitory. But considering your special circumstances, the university temporarily won't arrange another student to live here. I raised my brows. So I live alone? Yes. Is there housekeeping? Once a week. Is there a chef? No. Then how do I eat? The university has dining halls. Far. 20 minutes on foot. The smile on my face gradually disappeared. Such a big villa, and it doesn't even come with a chef? The corner of Deng Yu's eye twitched. You're here to cultivate, not vacation. I opened the villa door. I'm starting to miss the Lin family. Stop pretending. Deng Yu followed me into the living room. The dishes in the university dining halls are made with ferocious beast meat and spiritual plants. As long as you have enough credits, you can even eat 7th rank ferocious beast meat. I immediately changed my words. A chef isn't important. Young people should walk more. Deng Yu shook his head and sat down on the sofa. Leave your luggage for now. Next, I'll explain Skyvault Marshall University's rules to you. I sat opposite him. Go ahead. First is the credit system. Credits are equivalent to the Marshall University's internal currency. Second is freshman rating. Although your initial rating is SSS rank, after 1 month, the university will conduct your first formal assessment. What happens if I fail? Your rating drops. Resources are halved. What about the dormitory? It will also be adjusted. I immediately sat upright. In other words, if I perform poorly, this villa might be taken back. Correct. I narrowed my eyes. Who dares steal my house? It isn't stealing. It's university redistribution. Same thing. I leaned back against the sofa. I'm living in this villa for sure. Deng Yu smiled. Confidence is a good thing. But I have to remind you in advance. Skyvault Marshall University gathers the most outstanding ability users from across the country. There is no shortage of A-rank geniuses here. S-ranks are not absent either. They may acknowledge your SSS rank talent, but they may not necessarily accept your current strength. I understood. My special treatment would definitely make some people jealous. If people were jealous, people would challenge me. No problem. I loosened my wrists. If anyone refuses to accept it, let them come. I'll make them accept it. At that moment, the system voice finally sounded. Detected that the host has officially entered Skyvault Marshall University. Mission completed. Mission reward being issued. My eyes instantly lit up. It had finally arrived. Congratulations, host. You have obtained 1,000 talent points. Congratulations, host. You have obtained 1 opportunity to draw a divine-level martial technique. Congratulations, host. You have obtained special reward, Undead Space. Undead Space has been opened. Undead creatures killed or conquered by the host can be permanently stored within Undead Space and summoned at any time. On the surface, I remained calm, but my heart had already started pounding. 1,000 talent points, a divine-level martial technique, and an Undead Space capable of permanently storing summons. This enrollment reward was an absolute windfall. Deng Yu noticed my unusual state. What's wrong? Nothing. I grinned. I just suddenly feel that coming to Skyvault Marshall University was truly the right choice. Deng Yu explained for a long time, and I finally understood the rules of Skyvault Marshall University. Simply put, credits were the hard currency here. Eating required credits. Cultivation required credits. Exchanging martial techniques, buying equipment, entering secret realms, all of it required credits. As long as you had enough credits, you could freely choose the good things in the university warehouse. Of course, credits did not fall from the sky. Every academic year, The university distributed basic credits according to student rating. Aside from that, students could take missions, hunt ferocious beasts, or climb the rankings. The most direct method was arena combat. Both students would use credits as stakes. Whoever won would take the credits. Not only did the university not forbid it, it even specially arranged teachers to supervise. As long as no one was killed, students could do whatever they wanted. After listening, my eyes immediately lit up. In other words, if someone challenges me, they have to stake credits? Correct. Deng Yu smiled meaningfully. And with your reputation, there definitely won't be few challengers. What Skyvault Marshall University lacks least is geniuses. When those senior students hear that a newly awakened freshman like you directly received an SSS-Rank rating, someone will definitely be unconvinced. I leaned back against the sofa. Unconvinced is great. Deng Yu froze. You're not worried? Why would I be worried? I shook the smart bracelet on my wrist. If people are voluntarily giving me credits, I'll be happy before anything else. You're only mid-first rank right now. Deng Yu reminded me. There are many second-rank and third-rank students at the university. Some top students can even fight above their rank. I know. I raised my hand, and a trace of undead aura coiled around my fingertip. But who told you a mid-first rank definitely can't beat them? My rank was indeed not high, but I was not an ordinary mid-first rank. When dozens of undead warriors charged together, even second-rank ability users would get headaches. Moreover, I had now obtained undead space. If someone truly provoked me, I would directly pull out an undead army. A duel? That did not exist. For a summoning-type ability user, a duel meant me alone dueling a group of you. Deng Yu looked at my confident appearance and nodded. Confidence is good, but I still have to remind you not to be careless. Understood. I agreed readily. My mouth could be arrogant, but when it came to actual fighting, I had to be steady. After all, the credits were mine. If I lost, I would be the one hurting. Deng Yu pointed at my smart bracelet. If you didn't remember everything just now, you can check it yourself. The university rules, mission system, mall, and rankings are all inside. When you have time, read the school regulations more. I raised my brow. There are a lot of school regulations. Several hundred pages. Then forget it. You'd better read them. Deng Yu looked at me with a faint smile. Skyvault Marshall University allows competition, but it doesn't allow bottomless private fighting. If you truly commit a major mistake, even an SSS-Rank genius will be punished. Don't worry. I answered with a completely serious expression. I have always respected rules and obeyed laws. Deng Yu stared at me for a few seconds, clearly not entirely believing me. He continued. Your personal account has already been registered. The 500 basic credits have already arrived. The 60 million scholarship promised by the university has also been transferred into your account. The 60 million arrived? I immediately sat upright. A moment ago, I had still felt that school regulations were rather important. Now, it seemed school regulations could wait. Looking at money was more important. I raised my hand and tapped the smart bracelet. Buzz. A holographic interface unfolded before me. Welcome to Skyvault Marshall University Smart Terminal. Would you like to begin freshman guidance? There's even a newbie tutorial? I was somewhat surprised. As expected of the number 2 university in the country. Quite considerate. Following the prompts, I completed identity verification. Account information quickly appeared. Name, Lin Lang. Academy, 5th Academy. Freshman rating, SSS-Rank. Current credits, 500. Account balance, 60 million Xia nation currency. I stared at that string of zeros, and my mood immediately became comfortable. 60 million. Just like that, it had arrived. Sure enough, money might not solve every problem, but seeing so much money really did improve one's mood. Director Deng. What is it? I suddenly find Skyvault Marshall University even more pleasing to the eye. Just because the 60 million arrived? What else? I spoke with perfect confidence. Only when a university keeps its promises will students feel a sense of belonging. Deng Yu was angered into laughter. The other rewards promised to you won't be missing either. The S-Rank equipment is currently being customized according to your requirements. The spiritual fruits and pills will be delivered within a week. What type of weapon do you want? I thought for a moment. What do summoning-type ability users usually use? Staffs, soul bells, scepters, and spirit amplification weapons are all possible. Deng Yu replied. But in the end, a weapon has to suit you. You can take your time considering. Then there's no rush for now. Right now, I had not fully determined my specific combat style. Choosing one casually would instead waste the value of S-rank equipment. At this moment, I suddenly thought of a question. Director Deng, the new batch of students hasn't enrolled yet. Who do I attend classes with normally? You're not going to make me sit alone in a classroom, are you? Deng Yu smiled. The university arranged this for you long ago. Do you remember the summoning type grandmaster I mentioned before? I remember. That mentor has already agreed to accept you as a disciple. Deng Yu's expression became serious. Next, she will provide you with one-on-one guidance. You may also audit first-year foundational courses. But I suggest you go pay respects to your master as soon as possible. Making an 8th rank grandmaster wait for you is not a good habit. My heart stirred slightly. She really is willing to accept me? You're an SSS-Rank summoning type ability user. Deng Yu looked at me. You think only martial universities fight over students? Good teachers also fight over disciples. Her profile is on the university's official site. You can check it yourself. He stood up and gave me a few more reminders. I've basically told you everything I can. If you have any questions later, you can contact me directly. Life-related matters too. Of course. What if I'm short on credits? Earn them yourself. What if I'm short on money? There are 60 million in your account. What if someone bullies me? Beat them back yourself. My expression turned complicated. Director Deng, isn't the scope of your help a little small? Come find me when you encounter a problem you truly can't solve. Deng Yu patted my shoulder. As for conflicts between students, you'd best handle them yourself. If an SSS-rank genius wants to establish himself at Skyvault Martial University, he won't rely on other people's protection. He'll rely on his fists. I smiled. I like that sentence. After Deng Yu left, the villa finally became quiet. I did not immediately check that mentor's profile. There was something more important right now. From the moment I stepped into Skyvault Martial University, the system had prompted that the mission was complete. It was only because Deng Yu had been there that I had not immediately claimed the reward. Now, no one was disturbing me. I locked the door and sat down on the sofa. System, claim the mission reward. Mission reward beginning distribution. Congratulations, host, you have obtained 2,000 talent points. 2,000. My eyes instantly lit up. I still had 300 points left from before. Added together, that made 2,300 points. Now I could upgrade again. However, the reward had not ended. Congratulations, host, you have obtained exclusive martial technique. SSS-Rank Soul Shadow Spirit Summoning Art. The moment the system voice fell, an enormous amount of information directly surged into my mind. Boom. My vision went black. Countless images flashed wildly. Battle. Death. Soul. Summoning. A figure whose face I could not see stood amid mountains of corpses and seas of blood, raising a hand toward the front. In the next instant, an enemy's soul was forcibly pulled out of their body. The soul landed in his palm and swiftly condensed into a soul shadow identical to that enemy. Same form, same aura. Even the combat style and martial techniques were completely identical. The enemy's face turned deathly pale, and their strength sharply declined. That soul shadow, however, turned around and swung its weapon at its own original body, killing oneself with one's own power. I abruptly opened my eyes. My breathing was rapid. Cold sweat had already formed on my forehead. What a ruthless martial technique. Soul Shadow Spirit Summoning Art. During battle, I could forcibly extract a portion of a target's soul and condense it into a soul shadow. The soul shadow could copy the target's appearance, aura, combatability, and some martial techniques. At the same time, the enemy whose soul had been extracted would fall into weakness. Reaction speed would drop. Physical functions would decline. Ability control would also be affected. One side grew weaker while the other grew stronger. The weaker the enemy became, the stronger my soul shadow became. And this was only the effect of beginner-level comprehension. As comprehension improved, the soul I could extract would become more and more complete. The soul shadow's duration, copying ability, and combat consciousness would also continuously strengthen. Once cultivated to perfection, I could even pull out the enemy's complete soul and permanently refine it into my own summon. I could not help laughing. The god of the undead was already powerful enough. Now, I had obtained an SSS rank martial technique that completely matched it. This was not 1 plus 1 equaling 2. This was a direct multiplier. In the future, whoever wanted to duel me would not only have to fight my undead army, but also fight a copied version of themselves. Just thinking about it was exciting. After the massive martial technique information merged into my mind, I had already preliminarily mastered the Soul Shadow Spirit Summoning art. Martial technique comprehension was divided into beginner, intermediate, advanced, master, and perfection. For a normal ability user to train a martial technique from beginner to intermediate, it might take several months or even years. As for an SSS rank martial technique, the difficulty was even more absurdly high. But I was different. I had the system. Couldn't learn it? Just add points. I immediately opened the panel. Name, Lin Lang. Level, mid-stage first rank ability user, upgradable. Ability, God of the Undead, SSS rank. Physique, 341, upgradable. Spirit, 356, upgradable. Martial skill, SSS rank Soul Shadow Spirit Summoning art, beginner, asterisk asterisk. Talent points, 2,300. I looked toward the back of the martial skill entry. There was no plus sign. What's going on? System, upgrade Soul Shadow Spirit Summoning art. Insufficient talent points. Unable to upgrade. I froze. How many? 2,300 points still isn't enough? The system did not answer. There was still no plus sign behind the martial skill. I tried several more times in a row, but the result was always the same prompt. Insufficient talent points. I collapsed onto the sofa. This is way too expensive, isn't it? 2,300 points, and I couldn't even raise it by 1 level. This martial skill was basically a gold-devouring beast. But after thinking about it carefully, it made sense. After all, it was an SSS rank martial skill. And it was an exclusive ability specifically matched by the system for the God of the Undead. If it were really that easy to upgrade, it would seem cheap instead. Forget it. I'll save them for now. I did not rush to spend the talent points on my level. I was already at the mid-stage of first rank. Increasing my level was certainly important, but martial skills could also greatly enhance my combat power. Besides, the martial skill library of Firmament Martial University was open to me. Another day, I would first go look for an A-rank summoning type martial skill to try. If adding points to A-rank martial skills was cheap, I could completely learn a few more. There was no such thing as too many martial skills. In any case, the system could help me master them directly. Thinking of this, I closed the system panel and reopened my smart wristband. Next, it was time to look at the information on my future teacher. I entered the official website of Firmament Martial University and typed keywords into the mentor page. Summoning type, S-rank talent, 8th rank Grandmaster. The information quickly popped up. Name, Chow Xuan. Age, 28. Position, Special Grade Mentor of the Summoning Department, 5th Academy. Level, Early Stage 8th Rank Grandmaster. Ability, S-Rank Summoning Type, Divine Spirit Command Summon. Teaching Evaluation, Highest Grade. Apprentices accepted, none. I looked at the information and could not help sitting up straight. 28 years old, Early Stage 8th Rank. This cultivation speed was a little terrifying. I had originally thought that Li Yi becoming a peak 8th rank expert in his 30s was already a monster among monsters. I did not expect that within Firmament Martial University, there was another 28-year-old 8th rank Grandmaster. And just like me, she was also of the summoning type. Although her ability was only S rank, after cultivating to 8th rank, her understanding of summoning abilities would definitely far surpass the current me. This kind of teacher was indeed the most suitable for me. Just then, the system's voice sounded again. Detected that the host has obtained an opportunity to acknowledge a master. System mission triggered. Mission requirement. Complete master acknowledgement within 7 days. After completing the mission, you may receive a mission reward. Accept. Accept. I did not hesitate at all. I was going to acknowledge a master anyway. Now I could even get an extra system reward for free. How is this any different from bending down to pick up money? I glanced at the time. It was a little late to go now. For a first meeting, I couldn't very well knock on someone's door in the middle of the night. That wouldn't look like acknowledging a master. It would look more like checking the water meter. I'll go tomorrow. Food first. Early the next morning, after washing up, I changed into Firmament Martial University's uniform. After preparing the master acknowledgement gift, I did not leave immediately. Acknowledging a master was important. Eating was just as important. If I went to meet my teacher on an empty stomach and my stomach growled halfway through our conversation, how embarrassing would that be? I opened the map and followed the directions to the cafeteria. Firmament Marshall University's cafeteria was huge. As soon as I walked in, all kinds of fragrances surged over at once. Ordinary dishes were only the most basic offerings. What truly attracted people was fierce beast meat, flame barbaric ox, icefield blood deer, iron-armored frenzied boar. There was even sashimi made from 5th rank deep-sea fierce beasts. Beside each kind of fierce beast meat, the rank, effects, and price were all marked. I was dazzled just looking at them. 1st rank fierce beast meat cost 0.5 credits per serving. 2nd rank cost 1 to 3 credits. For 3rd rank and above, the prices directly multiplied. As for 5th rank fierce beast meat, one meal could eat up an ordinary student's basic credits for half a year. No wonder dang you said credits don't last. How was this eating? This was clearly eating money. But I had 500 credits as soon as I enrolled. Occasionally being a little extravagant was not a problem. I ordered several servings of different fierce beast meats and found a corner to sit down. I picked up a piece of roasted flame barbaric ox meat and put it into my mouth. The moment the meat entered my mouth, a warm current flowed down my throat and into my body. Fragrant, tender, and it really did contain energy. I had eaten fierce beast meat at the Lin family as well. But Jiangzhou's resources were limited, and the grade of ingredients was far inferior to Firmament Marshall University's. Not bad. These credits were well spent. As I was eating, the conversation of several students nearby suddenly entered my ears. Have you heard? That SSS-Rank freshman already reported in yesterday. You mean Lin Lang? Yeah. I heard he came on an Elders Council fighter jet, and Director Deng personally went to pick him up. For a freshman who just awakened, he sure has a big entrance. One of them lowered his voice. Whether the entrance was big or not doesn't matter. What's interesting is that Lu Ming has his eyes on him. Rock Emperor Lu Ming. That's him. Lu Ming has already broken through to late-stage 2nd rank, and his ranking on the combat power leaderboard has jumped forward by more than a dozen places again. Why is he targeting Lin Lang? What else could it be? A challenge. Lin Lang got an SSS rank rating as soon as he arrived. He gets 500 credits for free every year and lives alone in a top-tier villa. Forget Lu Ming. There are plenty of people watching him. Another person shook his head. Although Lin Lang is SSS rank, he only awakened a few days ago, right? Lu Ming is already late-stage 2nd rank. With such a big level gap, would Lin Lang dare accept? That's hard to say. Geniuses care about face the most. Not to mention, the whole country is praising him. If he refuses a challenge right after entering school, where would he put his face? I picked up a piece of meat and slowly put it into my mouth. Rock Emperor Lu Ming. Late-stage 2nd rank. A rank ability. He did sound somewhat capable. Unfortunately, if he wanted to use me as a stepping stone, he had picked the wrong person. I had only obtained Soul Shadow Spirit Summoning Art yesterday. I was just worrying that I had no one to test my moves on. And he delivered himself to my door. What a good person. It would be best if he staked more credits too. I continued eating without revealing my identity. The students were still discussing. Lu Ming has already made a declaration. As long as Lin Lang dares accept, he's willing to put up 200 credits as the stake. 200. That much. Is Lu Ming serious? My chewing paused for a moment. 200 credits. Based on purchasing power, that was worth at least 2 million Xian Nation coins. And many school resources could not be bought even with money. I put down my chopsticks, and the corners of my mouth uncontrollably rose. What challenger? This was clearly a senior delivering warmth to me as soon as I enrolled. I quickly finished breakfast and got up to leave. There was no rush regarding Lu Ming. Since he had already made a public declaration, he would not run. My top priority right now was acknowledging a master. Following the map on my smart wristband, I passed through the teaching area of the 5th Academy and walked toward the mentor's residential area. More than 10 minutes later, a bamboo forest appeared ahead. Deep within the bamboo forest stood an ancient-style villa. This was the place. I straightened my clothes and walked to the door. Knock, knock, knock. The sound of knocking rang out. Soon, footsteps came from inside. The door opened, and a woman around 40 years old appeared before me. She wore a light blue long dress. Her face was gentle, but the aura emanating from her body was not gentle at all. Peak 5th rank, the same level as my father. If such a powerful expert were placed in Jiangzhou, she would be enough to support a top family. But here, she was only a housekeeper. The foundation of Firmament Marshall University was even more exaggerated than I had imagined. The female housekeeper sized me up. "Student, who are you looking for?" "Hello." I spoke politely. "I am freshman Lin Lang. I'm here to see Mentor Chow Xuan." Lin Lang. Surprise flashed in her eyes. "That SSS-Rank freshman? If the school doesn't have a second Lin Lang, then that should be me." A faint smile appeared on the female housekeeper's face. "The mentor has been waiting for you for a long time. Come in." She turned and led the way. I followed her through the living room and corridor, arriving at the backyard of the villa. The bamboo forest swayed in the wind. A pavilion stood in the center of the grass. Inside the pavilion sat a young woman in a white long dress. She looked 20-something at most. Her long hair fell casually behind her shoulders, and her aura was restrained to the point that she seemed almost like an ordinary person. But I knew very clearly, this seemingly gentle young woman was the early-stage 8th rank Grandmaster, Chow Xuan. The female housekeeper stopped. "Mentor Chow is ahead. You can go over by yourself." "Thank you." I walked toward the pavilion. Before I even got close, Chow Xuan turned her head. She glanced at me and directly called out my name. "Lin Lang, you're finally here." I stopped outside the pavilion and bowed respectfully. "Junior Lin Lang greets Mentor Chow. I have come today because I wish to acknowledge you as my master." Chow Xuan did not answer immediately. She looked me up and down. Those seemingly gentle eyes appeared capable of seeing straight through my body. A moment later, surprise flashed in her eyes. "Mid-stage 1st rank. And your aura is stable." I did not hide it. "I just broke through a few days ago." "You only awakened a few days ago, yet you've already broken through to mid-stage 1st rank." Chow Xuan slowly stood up and walked in front of me. It seems Li Yi's evaluation was still conservative. She walked around me once. The interest in her gaze grew stronger and stronger. "Your physique and spiritual power also far exceed those of the same rank. Did you take a heavenly soul sacred fruit?" "I took one." "No wonder." Chow Xuan nodded. "But even with the heavenly soul sacred fruit, your improvement is still too fast. SSS rank abilities truly cannot be judged by common sense." She stopped in front of me. "The school did indeed ask me whether I was willing to accept you as my disciple." My answer was yes. My eyes lit up. "Teacher, you mean?" "Don't rush." Chow Xuan raised her hand and interrupted me. "Your talent is high enough. But to become my disciple, talent alone is not enough." My expression became serious. "Please test me, mentor." "It can't really be called a test." Chow Xuan looked at me. "I will only ask you 3 questions. First, why do you want to become stronger?" I had already thought about the answer long ago. "To live. To let my family live. And also so that one day, no one can force me to lower my head." Chow Xuan stared at me for a few seconds. She gave no evaluation. "Second question. If your summoned creature possessed its own consciousness and even rebelled against you one day, what would you do?" "First, I would find out the reason for its rebellion. If it can be resolved, I'll resolve it. And if it can't," I did not hesitate, "erase it." Summoned creatures could have consciousness. They could also have personality. But they absolutely could not betray me. Otherwise, keeping them would only leave behind a hidden danger. A trace of satisfaction flashed in Chow Xuan's eyes. "Last question. If one day your strength surpasses mine," I looked at her. "Do you hope I will always be inferior to you? Or do you hope the student surpasses the master?" Chow Xuan smiled. "Of course I hope the student surpasses the master." "Then there's no problem." I said seriously. "No matter what realm I reach, since you have taught me, you are my teacher. Strength can surpass. The relationship will not change." The pavilion was quiet for several seconds. Chow Xuan finally nodded. "Very good. Lin Lang, from today onward, you are my disciple, Chow Xuan's disciple." That direct? I had originally thought there would be a fight, or that I would have to summon the undead to prove my strength. But after thinking about it, this was also normal. My talent, test data, and combat performance had long been thoroughly organized by Li Yi. If Chow Xuan wanted to see them, she could do so at any time. There was no need for her to test me again. I immediately stepped forward and bowed solemnly. Disciple Lin Lang greets Master. Congratulations, host, for completing the Master Acknowledgement mission. Mission reward awaiting claim. The system's voice sounded. I felt delighted, but showed nothing unusual on the surface. Chao Yishuan reached out and helped me up. Rise. You are my first disciple. Since I have accepted you, I will teach you seriously. But let me say the ugly words first. My requirements for disciples are very high. If you do poorly, I really will punish you. How will you punish me? Double the training. That's it. Chao Yishuan raised an eyebrow. What? Are you very disappointed? No. I immediately changed my tone. I just feel that Master is gentle and kind, so you definitely wouldn't bear to punish me too heavily. Chao Yishuan looked at me with a faint smile. You're quite good with words. But flattery is useless on me. Understood. I straightened my body. Then I'll flatter you less in the future. You were really planning to flatter me? Between master and disciple, an appropriate exchange of feelings is very normal. Chao Yishuan was amused by me. Let's go. First, let me take a look at your ability. She brought me into the villa's training room. The equipment here was countless levels higher than that of first high school. The entire training room was made of special alloy. At the center was a huge summoning platform. Complex energy patterns were carved into the ground. There were also dozens of monitoring instruments around. Chao Yishuan walked to the front of the summoning platform. Go up. I stepped onto the platform. What do you need me to do? Release your ability with full strength. Chao Yishuan crossed her arms, her eyes filled with anticipation. Don't hold back. Let me see what is so special about the SSS-Rank god of the undead. I did not make a move immediately. Master, what? Are these devices sturdy? Chao Yishuan was stunned. Attacks below the 8th rank will find it very difficult to damage the training room. That's good. I breathed a sigh of relief. When I was tested before, I broke quite a few things. Relax. Chao Yishuan's tone was calm. This is not Jiangzhou First High School. Release it as much as you like. Since she had already said that, of course I would not be polite. I stood at the center of the summoning platform and slowly raised my right hand. The power of the undead began to circulate. Buzz. The lights in the training room instantly flickered. The energy patterns on the floor lit up one after another. The temperature dropped sharply. Darkness spread outward from beneath my feet. The smile on Chao Yishuan's face gradually disappeared, and for the first time, her expression became serious. This undead aura, its purity is actually this high? I raised my head. Both my eyes were already covered by a dim, eerie light. A pitch-black rift slowly tore open behind me. Immediately after came a second, a third, 10, 20. Heavy footsteps came from deep within the rifts. Thud, thud, thud. One undead warrior after another, clad in black armor and holding long swords, stepped through the rifts and appeared neatly around the summoning platform. 40, 60, 80. They drew their swords at the same time. They knelt at the same time. Greetings, my lord. Boom. 80 mid-stage first-rank auras erupted at once. The entire training room shook. Chao Yishuan looked at the undead army before her, and her gaze finally changed. 80. You're only mid-stage first rank. How can you maintain so many summoned creatures at the same time? I did not answer, because this was not over yet. The power of the undead continued surging. An even larger rift slowly opened behind me. A massive bone claw was the first to reach out. Then came an arm covered in broken heavy armor. A figure far more powerful than an ordinary undead warrior was crossing the void, descending toward the training room. I stared at that rift, the corners of my mouth rising slightly. Master, didn't you want to see what's special about the god of the undead? Then you'd better watch carefully. The real big guy is only coming out now. The runes on the summoning platform suddenly all lit up. I was just about to pull that big guy out when a powerful suction force suddenly drilled into my mind. What's going on? My vision went dark. When I opened my eyes again, the training room was gone. Chao Yishuan was gone too. Only boundless darkness remained around me. A gloomy wind scraped across the ground, and from afar came the sounds of bones colliding and undead roaring. I stood there, somewhat stunned. Master. No one answered. Teacher Chao. Still nothing. I looked around and could not help muttering under my breath. No. Seriously, where did this thing take me? Am I still at Firmament Marshall University? My body felt no discomfort. On the contrary, I actually felt very comfortable. The aura of death here might be sinister and terrifying to others, but to me, it felt like coming home. I took a few steps forward. The darkness gradually retreated. One undead creature after another appeared in my field of vision. Skeleton warriors formed rows and groups. Undead mages in tattered robes floated in midair. Bone beasts crouched on the ground. Farther away, an enormous undead dragon lay prone between the valleys. Just one breath from it stirred up a death storm that blotted out the sky. My steps stopped. Undead dragon? It seemed to hear my voice and slowly raised its head. The ghostly blue soul flames in its eye sockets suddenly brightened. Boom. A terrifying aura swept over. I was not afraid, because the moment it looked at me, I clearly sensed an absolute submission. Not only it, all the undead here were looking at me. The next second, the endless undead lowered their heads at the same time. Greetings, my lord. Their voices converged into a torrent, shaking the entire world. I looked at them, and my breathing gradually quickened. This was my summoning space. Or rather, it was the kingdom of death that belonged only to the god of the undead. All the undead were my summoned creatures. As long as I had enough strength, I could bring them all into reality. One person was an army. No, once I truly grew up, one person would be an entire undead world. I looked at that undead dragon and tried raising my hand. You come here. The undead dragon had just tried to get up when an overwhelming sense of consumption instantly struck. My spiritual power drained madly like floodwater released from a dam. Stop. I hurriedly withdrew the command. The undead dragon lay down again. Only then did the consumption stop. I wiped the cold sweat from my forehead. Good grief. It hadn't even taken one leg out yet, and I had almost been drained dry first. The thing was mine, but the current me could not afford to use it yet. A meal has to be eaten one bite at a time. I'll pick a few cheaper ones first. I swept my gaze around and soon locked onto a few undead with moderate auras. An undead knight holding a bone blade. 2 early-stage, 3rd-rank skeleton warriors. A mid-stage, 3rd-rank undead mage. And a peak, 3rd-rank shadow leopard. You'll do. I raised my hand. Follow me out. The 5 undead lowered their heads at the same time. As you command, my lord. At the same time, in the training room in reality, Chao Yishuan was staring at the summoning platform, her expression gradually stiffening. She suddenly remembered something. She had forgotten to tell me what this summoning platform was actually for. Crap. Chao Yishuan raised her hand and held her forehead. Just now, her mind had been filled with the SSS-Rank god of the undead, and she had only focused on making me release my ability with full strength. Yet she had forgotten the most important usage instructions. This platform was called the Summoning Space Connector. After low-rank summoning type ability users stood on it, their consciousness would be directly sent into their summoning space. Under normal circumstances, the user needed to actively establish coordinates, then use spiritual traction to return to their body. This was my first time using it, so I had no idea about any of that. It was not impossible to forcibly wake me up, but my soul and spirit would inevitably suffer backlash. At best, I would be unconscious for a few days. At worst, I would be left with permanent injuries. My first time accepting a disciple, and I sent him straight into the summoning space. The more Chao Yishuan thought about it, the more awkward she felt. If this matter spread, she, a special grade mentor, might gain an indelible dark history. She raised her hand several times, wanting to forcibly wake me up, but in the end, she held back. I'll wait a little longer. With an SSS-Rank ability, he should be able to find the way back on his own. If it really doesn't work, I'll step in. The moment her voice fell, the summoning platform suddenly shook. Boom. A powerful undead aura erupted from the center of the platform. The surrounding instruments sounded alarms at the same time. Detected opening of summoning passage. Spatial coordinates connecting. High-energy undead creatures about to descend. Chao Yishuan abruptly raised her head. He found it this quickly? On the platform, 5 black rifts opened at the same time. I opened my eyes. The next second, 5 undead creatures stepped out from the rifts. The Boneblade Knight knelt on one knee. The undead mage lowered its head. The shadow leopard crouched by my feet. 5 summoned creatures, each emitting a 3rd-rank aura. The strongest shadow leopard had even reached peak 3rd rank. Greetings, my lord. A low voice echoed through the training room. Chao Yishuan stared at this scene, and her expression finally changed. Early stage 3rd rank. Mid-stage 3rd rank. Peak 3rd rank. She turned to look at me. You're mid-stage 1st rank, yet you can summon 5 3rd rank undead at the same time? I moved my neck. Actually, I can summon a few more. Chao Yishuan fell silent. I looked at her and deliberately asked, Master, what happened just now? My consciousness was suddenly dragged into a pitch-black space. I called out to you for ages, but no one responded. This? Chao Yishuan coughed lightly and quickly regained her composure. That was your first test for me. Test? That's right. She placed both hands behind her back, her face calm. I deliberately didn't tell you the function of the summoning platform because I wanted to see whether you could enter your summoning space alone and find a way back to reality. I stared at her. She stared at me too. On the surface, she was extremely steady, but I still caught that instant of guilt. I probed. It wasn't because you forgot to remind me. Of course not. Chao Yishuan answered extremely quickly. I am an 8th rank Grandmaster. How could I possibly make such a low-level mistake? That makes sense. I nodded. Then why did Master look so worried just now? I was worried you wouldn't pass the test. There's still sweat on your forehead. The training room is a little hot. I raised my head and glanced at the temperature display. 12 degrees. Chao Yishuan followed my gaze and looked over, the corner of her mouth twitching lightly. I did not continue exposing her. On the first day after acknowledging a master, I had to leave my teacher some face. Master, your test was indeed quite special. Your disciple has learned a lesson. Chao Yishuan nodded with satisfaction. You were able to come back so quickly and even bring out 5 3rd rank undead. You truly did not disappoint me. On the surface, her praise was calm, but the shock in the depths of her eyes could not be suppressed at all. I was only mid-stage 1st rank. For normal summoning type ability users at this level, being able to stably control 1 or 2 1st rank summoned creatures would already count as excellent. Yet I had directly pulled out 5 3rd rank creatures, and that was clearly not my limit. Her S-rank ability, Divine Spirit Command Summon, was already powerful enough. But compared with the God of the Undead, there was still a visible gap. Between SSS-Rank and S-Rank, what lay between them was not merely 2 simple minor grades. It was an enormous chasm. I snapped my fingers. Go back. The 5 undead simultaneously turned into black light and disappeared from the training room. Their auras had not completely disconnected. I could still sense them. With just one thought, I could summon them again at any time. I would not even need the summoning platform anymore. In the future, I could directly call their names. However, they did not have names for now. I couldn't very well call them Skeleton Number 1 and Skeleton Number 2. That would be too perfunctory. Chao Yishuan walked to the side of the summoning platform and finally began filling in the usage instructions. This device is called the Summoning Space Connector. To ordinary ability users, it is nothing more than an expensive pile of scrap metal. But to low-rank summoning type ability users, it can help their consciousness enter their summoning space. Every summoning type ability user has a summoning space of their own. The summoned creatures exist within it. The stronger the ability talent, the larger the space, and the higher the quantity and quality of the summoned creatures. I thought of the undead dragon I had just seen. Can all the summoned creatures inside the space be brought out? In theory, yes. Chao Yishuan looked at me. In practice, it depends on your level and spiritual power. The stronger the summoned creature, the greater the consumption. If you forcibly summon a creature far beyond what you can withstand, there is only one result. I get drained dry. Not just drained dry. Her tone was solemn. Spiritual collapse, soul damage, or even death on the spot. I immediately gave up the idea of summoning the undead dragon right now. That thing was indeed very cool. But coolness was not worth trading my life for. As your strength increases, you will gradually break free from relying on the connector. At my realm, I can enter the summoning space with a single thought. Chao Yishuan paused, then added, in addition, to return from the summoning space, you must first lock onto the coordinates of your physical body. If you cannot find them, your consciousness will be trapped inside. I glanced at her. Master didn't mention something so important just now. Chao Yishuan's expression remained unchanged. That's why it was called a test. Fine. You're the teacher. Whatever you say goes. After explaining the summoning platform, She officially began giving me my first lesson. Lin Lang, what is your understanding of summoning type ability users? I thought for a moment. Having more people. What else? Not needing to personally fight. Continue. If summoned creatures die, they can be summoned again. The corner of Chow Xuan's eye twitched lightly. Your understanding really is simple and direct. Am I wrong? You're right, but not comprehensive. She waved her hand. Two humanoid projections immediately appeared in the center of the training room. A summoner stood in the rear. The summoned creature charged at the front. The core of summoning type ability users is spiritual power. The stronger your spiritual power, the stronger the creatures you can summon, the more you can control, and the longer you can maintain them. That is why most summoners put all their energy into spiritual cultivation. As soon as she finished speaking, the enemy in the image suddenly bypassed the summoned creature and pierced the summoner's chest with one slash. The projection disappeared. This is also the most foolish part of many summoners. My gaze sharpened. Close combat. Exactly. Chow Xuan looked at me. No matter how strong the summoned creatures are, if the summoner themselves is killed, everything becomes meaningless. A truly mature summoner must not only increase spiritual power, physique, speed, defense, close-range counterattack ability, none of them can be neglected. I nodded. This matched my thoughts. Summoned creatures could serve as the main force. But I absolutely could not become a fragile weakling who would be slaughtered once separated from summoned creatures. The enemy would go through all kinds of hardships to break through the undead army and kill their way in front of me. They would think they could kill me in one slash, only for me to press them onto the ground with a backhand move. Just thinking about that scene felt satisfying. Chow Xuan walked in front of me. Your greatest advantage is that both your physique and spiritual power far exceed those of the same rank. That is very good. Keep it up, and compared with ordinary summoners, you will have one less fatal weakness. After saying that, she touched the spatial ring on her hand. A book appeared out of thin air. She handed it to me. Take it. I looked at the cover. Phantom Spirit Possession Art. This is a martial skill? I created it myself. Chow Xuan's tone was casual. It has been certified by Xia Nation's Martial Skill Evaluation Institution as SS-Rank. My grip on the martial skill suddenly tightened. SS rank. Martial skills, like abilities, ranged from F rank to SSS rank. A rank martial skills were already astonishingly valuable. S rank martial skills were core inheritances of major forces. As for SS rank martial skills, they were enough for 7th rank grandmasters and even 8th rank grandmasters to fight over. Yet Chow Xuan had directly given it to me. Master, isn't this too precious? You have already acknowledged me as your master. Chow Xuan looked at me. If I don't give my things to you, should I save them to take into the coffin? Direct enough. I liked it. Thank you, master. I solemnly accepted the martial skill. I would remember this favor. Chow Xuan continued explaining. Summoners fear being approached in close combat, so I created Phantom Spirit Possession Art. Its core is very simple. Attach a summoned creature to your own body and borrow its power. She raised her right hand. A silver summoning formation unfolded beneath her feet. A giant wolf, snow-white from head to toe and bearing 2 wings on its back, appeared behind her. The next second, the giant wolf transformed into light and merged into her body. Silver-white patterns spread along her arms. A pair of illusory wings opened behind her. Boom. Her originally gentle aura instantly became sharp. Chow Xuan took only one step and disappeared from before my eyes. Immediately after, her voice came from behind me. If the possessed summoned creature specializes in speed, then you will obtain its speed. I abruptly turned around. Chow Xuan had already disappeared again. This time, she appeared at the other end of the training room. She was so fast that I could not capture her at all. If it specializes in strength, then you can obtain strength. If it specializes in defense, then you can obtain defense. If the summoned creature possesses a special ability, once you cultivate to a certain level, you can likewise use it. She raised her hand and snapped her fingers. The illusory giant wolf separated from her body and disappeared again. Moreover, in the possessed state, the phantom spirit will withstand most attacks for you. The enemy exhausts all their strength to get close to you, only to discover that you are even harder to kill than your summoned creature. That is Phantom Spirit Possession Art. I lowered my head and looked at the martial skill in my hand, my eyes growing brighter and brighter. This martial skill suited me too well. In the undead space, there were countless summoned creatures of different types. Speed type, strength type, defense type. There was even an undead dragon. If in the future I attached the undead dragon to myself, would that still be called a summoner? That would be a humanoid fierce beast. Chao Yishuan saw my excitement and immediately poured cold water on me. Don't get happy too soon. Asterisk Phantom Spirit Possession Art Asterisk is an SS rank martial skill, and its cultivation difficulty is very high. Martial skill comprehension is divided into beginner, intermediate, advanced, master, and perfection. After creating it, even I used a very long time to cultivate it to perfection. She extended 3 fingers. With your talent, if you focus on cultivating it, you should be able to reach the master level in 3 years. 3 years? Under normal circumstances, perhaps. But was I normal? I had the system. As long as I had enough talent points, forget 3 years. Even 3 seconds might be possible. Of course, I could not tell her that. I nodded with a serious expression. Don't worry, master. I will definitely cultivate diligently. Very good. Chao Yishuan patted my shoulder in satisfaction. But don't only focus on this one. In Firmament Martial University's library, there are also quite a few A-rank martial skills suitable for you. Asterisk Spear of Spirit Asterisk, which can condense spiritual power into an attack. Asterisk Shadow Step Asterisk, suitable for evasion and creating distance. Asterisk Summon Transfer Asterisk, which allows you and your summoned creature to instantly swap positions. These 3 are all very suitable for you. I memorized them one by one. Why are there no S-rank martial skills? Chao Yishuan glanced at me, biting off more than you can chew. You only just awakened. 1 SS-rank martial skill is already enough for you to study for a long time. Master A-rank martial skills first, then consider S-rank ones. I did not refute her. In her eyes, martial skills needed to be slowly comprehended. But I had the system. As long as I had enough talent points, I could learn as many as came my way. However, there was indeed no need to explain that now. That will be all for today. Chao Yishuan instructed. Go back and familiarize yourself with Phantom Spirit Possession Art. If there is anything you don't understand, come ask me at any time. I usually don't need to teach classes every day, so I have plenty of time. Also, she looked at me with a serious expression. Don't go recklessly trying to summon high-level creatures on your own, especially those huge ones you saw in the summoning space. My heart stirred. Master knows what I saw? I don't. But I know that in an SSS-rank summoning space, there must be things that you currently can't withstand. Chao Yishuan reached out and tapped my forehead. Don't court death. Do you hear me? I hear you. Good boy. The corner of my mouth twitched. I was already 18. Why was she still treating me like a child? But this feeling wasn't unpleasant. After saying goodbye to Chao Yishuan, I returned to my dorm with Phantom Spirit Possession. As soon as I closed the door, a system notification rang out in my mind. The apprenticeship task has been completed. Do you wish to claim the reward? Claim it. Task rewards are now being distributed. Congratulations, host. You have obtained 3,000 talent points. Congratulations, host. You have comprehended the SS rank martial technique Phantom Spirit Possession to the beginner level. Congratulations, host. You have obtained an infinite storage space. A vast amount of martial technique memories flooded into my mind. This time, there was no pain at all. All the information merged rapidly into my consciousness and body, as if I had personally cultivated it countless times. Phantom Spirit Selection, Mental Connection, Power Fusion, Damage Transfer. In just a few seconds, I had truly mastered Phantom Spirit Possession. So this is an SS rank martial technique. I opened my eyes, my heartbeat quickening slightly. Powerful, truly powerful. Even with only beginner-level comprehension, it was enough for me to attach a portion of the Undead's power to myself. If I suddenly used it in battle, I could definitely catch my opponent off guard. I immediately opened the system panel. Name, Lin Lang. Level, Mid-stage first-rank ability user, upgradable. Ability, God of the Undead SSS rank. Physique, 341, upgradable. Spirit, 356, upgradable. Martial techniques. SSS rank Soul Shadow Summoning Art. Beginner. Asterisk asterisk. SS-Rank Phantom Spirit Possession, Beginner, asterisk asterisk. Talent points, 5,300. 5,300 points. This time, I had finally struck it rich. But I didn't rush to allocate the points. Even 2,300 points hadn't been enough to upgrade Soul Shadow Summoning Art. Phantom Spirit Possession was likely another massive point sink. 5,300 points looked like a lot, but if I really dumped them in, I might not even hear a splash. Better to save them for now. After I went to the library and got those A-rank martial techniques, I could test how many points they consumed. Then, I shifted my attention to the infinite storage space. Infinite storage space. The internal space is infinite. Living beings cannot be stored. All items placed inside will permanently retain the state they were in at the moment of storage. Infinite. I looked at the half-finished drink in my hand and willed it. The drink vanished instantly. The next second, my consciousness saw a boundless, static space. The drink was floating inside. The liquid in the bottle did not slosh. The temperature did not change. Even the bubbles that had just risen were frozen in their original state. With another thought, the drink reappeared in my hand. It was still cold. Good stuff. From now on, pills, spirit fruits, and ferocious beast materials could all be thrown inside. No need to worry about them spoiling. No need for a backpack either. Most importantly, the space was infinite. If there was ever a need in the future, I could even empty out an entire warehouse. I stored Phantom Spirit Possession inside, then took it back out. There was no problem at all. After that, I began experimenting with the things in the room. The sofa, the coffee table, the refrigerator, the bed. A few minutes later, the originally luxurious living room had been cleared out completely by me. Standing in the empty room, I nodded in satisfaction. It really can hold things. Then I put everything back in its original place. Just as I was preparing to head out to the library, a knock suddenly sounded from outside the door. Knock, knock, knock. I stopped in my tracks. Who was it? I had only just arrived at Sky Dome Martial Academy. The number of people I knew could be counted on one hand. It couldn't be Chao Yishuan realizing she had forgotten something and chasing after me again. Could it? The knocking sounded again. I narrowed my eyes. Could it be Lu Ming? I heard he wanted to challenge me, didn't he? Perfect timing. I had just learned Soul Shadow Summoning Art and Phantom Spirit Possession, and I was lacking a durable sparring partner. Besides, he was willing to wager 200 academic credits. This senior was not only enthusiastic, but generous too. I loosened my wrists and walked toward the door. Coming. No need to rush. The person outside immediately stated his purpose. I'm a teacher from the school's logistics department. We're here to deliver your enrollment resources. My footsteps paused. So it wasn't Lu Ming. What a pity. I opened the door. 3 teachers stood outside. Behind each of them was an exquisite box. 3 waves of 5th rank aura rushed toward me. I couldn't help but take a few extra glances at them. Back in Jiangzhou, my father had held the position of the #1 powerhouse with his strength at the peak of the 5th rank. But here at Sky Dome Martial Academy, even the logistics teachers delivering supplies were 5th rank. This gap was indeed a little disheartening. Jiangzhou was still too small. In the past, I had stood at the bottom of a well, thinking that the sky above my head was already vast enough. Only after jumping out did I realize that the outside world was far more exaggerated than I had imagined. The leading logistics teacher smiled at me. Student Lin Lang? That's me. The enrollment resources the school promised you have all been prepared. He turned slightly and pointed at the 3 boxes. S-rank equipment. S-rank spirit fruit. 5th rank, 6th rank, and 7th rank pills. They're all here. I looked at the 3 boxes, and my heartbeat began to accelerate. They had come at just the right time. Strength improvement. System point allocation. High-rank martial techniques. And now, even resources had been delivered to my doorstep. I moved aside. Teachers, please come in. Please help me place them in the living room. No need to place them down. The logistics teacher took out a checklist. These are all yours. Inspect them first. After confirming everything is correct, sign here. I looked at him and nodded seriously. That's only proper. Even blood brothers should settle accounts clearly. Moreover, any one of these items would be astonishingly valuable if taken out. I walked toward the first box. The lid opened. A cold black light instantly illuminated the entire living room.